basically infatuated with the in-between. The ups, the downs, the curves and the rounds. I'll bring it to your city or your hometown. I'll go back in time when the feeling was fine. When funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way. A bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look around, all the frowns, the yellow, the white, the red and the brown. And keep in mind, it never costs a dime, cause funkin' is free, I remember the time. Now look today, the streets are gray, time to take it back to yesterday. Funkin' in the neighborhood, I felt the fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool cause the funkin' was good. It was good in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live.
And we're HVAC technicians.
Welcome to the Underdog Journey. I'm Wes. This guy is David, and he is trying to get my hypochondriac current wife more worried about stuff that does not currently exist. So, David, how you been?
Hey, she's the one who came down with 45 seconds before the show and started talking about frozen pipes and HVAC systems, man.
Yeah, it's not that. It's other stuff. So, but we're
Yes.
worrywarts apparently in this house, and we like to worry, especially when other people start putting ideas out there
Absolutely.
that aren't currently the case. David, how you been, man?
Oh, I'd say busier than a one-arm paper hanger, but I've been on vacation, so no.
So how you been on vacation? You're not very good at vacations.
I have only checked. I've only briefly even glanced at my email like twice since Friday, and then Friday was the day after the 4th of July. So even that was light. I did have a quick meeting to deal with down in New York City on Monday, Friday, oh no, I had to go to New York City.
New York City.
Yeah, it was a great time though. Hey, there's Lachlan.
There they are.
Oh, there's the other one. Okay. Where's I didn't recognize her without her cat ears.
I know she's not wearing the cat ears right now.
Nice.
How you kids been?
Good.
Yeah, where'd you guys go today?
I didn't know that she was human until just now.
I know she normally has the ears.
To the playground.
You went to the playground?
Which playground?
It was one with like a creek.
What
We were playing in the creek.
Oh, do you know Park of Roses?
I forget.
Park of Roses has a nice little area that you can get down, and it's still a creek, but it's a decent sized creek, so you can have a lot of fun down there. Park of Roses. Tell your mom and dad to take you there.
Yeah, we haven't been to that one.
Sam.
Yeah, so we'll totally go.
It really is cool.
You guys enjoying summer break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could we not?
Well, thanks. The
How
cat's
could we not? I like that. I like how they placed that. I mean, proper English. How could we not?
How could we not? Well,
Oh my god.
that's how the kids.
Oh my god.
That's how the kids
Proper
talk these
English in this
days.
house. Half the time they speak with a British accent. We're so proper.
Oh yes, yes.
Papa, please take me to the park.
What?
Exactly. Huh?
Yeah, no cat, man, no cat.
Nope. Nope. Okay.
That's a thing, right? I believe I've been hearing that lately. Noah said it to me the other day.
Yeah. No cap. No cap. Hey.
No cap.
Hey. So, Locke, explain what cap means. What is cap?
It's like fake.
It means fake.
It's fake.
So it's not fake. So if you say no cap, it's not fake. You mean you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
No cap.
Uh-uh.
I wonder who invents these random slang things. Like what YouTuber was sitting around saying what can we say to confuse old people?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you and I sit around and say all kinds of stuff that confuse old people, young people, and everybody in between.
My daughter says I'm a championship kickboxer, so I'll take it.
Oh, nice.
John Calendar says Mr. Beast, but I can't reach my keyboard to put it on the screen. So, all right, guys, head to bed.
I'm just now fighting. I'm like, oh, I can't see what's going on here. What's going on in the show? I don't know who's watching.
Okay, here, take this one. Take this mermaid. All right, see you guys later.
Okay.
Okay, so that was fun.
Well, that was loud. Oh,
Yeah, you get used to that around
now
here.
I turn the volume down on this thing.
David, you got the ding dongs popping up.
Got the ding dongs popping up. Can't be having the ding dongs popping up.
No,
It's not cool. That's no cap.
that is.
That's all.
I don't know if
no
is that cap or no cap. I can't tell anymore.
John Calendar's asked something about laying pipe. Oh, okay. When we open,
Yeah. So yeah, John. The answer to that is no. Then he says Mr. Beast about who invents these slang words to confuse old people. He's probably right there.
All right. Yeah. Actually, it's probably true. That would actually-
I think it's a conspiracy. I genuinely think there's a conspiracy out there of people
So
just
we got another show. We got another show coming up with conspiracies.
of people just making up slang words and just to confuse old people.
I'm all for it. So, Wes, let's get to the important stuff of the evening. My friend, what are you drinking tonight?
The most important part of the show is what we're drinking. I am having a delicious, as far as delicious goes, IPA. So my neighbor, they always go on vacation to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware, and because my wife waters their flowers, they bring me beer, and he always brings me IPAs.
I like that. I mean, that's a good. I mean, pass on the IPAs, but if I can get my wife to do, work, and then somebody rewards me for it,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a pretty good deal.
I mean, that's pretty cool. No cap.
No cap. And the best kind of beer is free beer. So even though it's an IPA, we're still gonna be happy about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. People go, what kind of beer you drink? Whatever you hand me.
Exactly. So Thompson
is how that
Island
works.
IPA, and it's pretty good as far as IPAs.
It's a who?
Thompson Island.
Yeah, never heard.
Thompson Island Brewing Co. There you
go.
What about you, David? What are you having?
Okay, so we got our roles back in line. You're drinking beer and I'm drinking whiskey again.
Right.
This week.
Yeah, we had a little mismatch last week.
Yeah, last week we didn't collaborate and listen, and the DJ just couldn't sort it out.
No.
So I am drinking a thing called Traveler whiskey. Blend number 40 is what it says. I don't know if there's multiple blends or not. It is a collaboration between Buffalo Trace and a feller by the name of Chris Stapleton. And I happen to know that Chris Stapleton is a musician only because we get drunk and sing one of his songs at the cigar lounges. So yeah, picture this. Now, there's a lot of us in these rooms. I mean, there could be 30 to 50 people in these rooms.
Okay.
And we're all there having a good time, very well socially lubricated.
As you do.
And, you know, to close the night, because we had to play it so often for people, we moved it to the end. It's the last song of the night. And again,
you guys sing a lot?
There could be, and yeah, actually, we do get in there singing quite a bit. We have a good time. We have a great time.
Okay.
I got to tell you, and John Callender just put it, that's good whiskey. This might be my new, if I were to have, I don't drink daily, but if I were to have just a daily pour, this might be the one I'm for.
Okay.
This might be it. It is flippin' delicious. It's 90 proof. It's right down the middle at 45% alcohol by volume, as a bourbon should be. I mean, you can see the caramel color on it, and the flavors on it are just amazing. Make my mouth water. I'm going to stop talking about the pour and drink it.
Stop talking and start drinking. Yeah, I'm going to look for that. That does sound pretty good.
And it's got a cork.
Love the cork sound. So John Calder says good whiskey. So apparently he's had it. So it is available here.
Oh, it absolutely is. It is freaking delicious. So this will be John, I need you to hide this in the 6 that we're going to be doing a tasting on. I kind of want this to be hidden in there.
Is John coming up for
I don't think he's coming up. John, I don't think you're coming up, but I think he's the one that's going to be selecting the whiskeys, the bourbon for us.
Yeah. So for those who don't know,
good in the middle between Green Label and 107. That's kind of what I thought. That's kind of exactly what I thought. And you know, I love Green Label. Green Label, again, it's actually a little cheaper than this if you can get it without it being inflated price. This goes for about $40 a bottle off the shelf, or over here at least. But a Green Label, even a Green Label over here, if you can find it on the shelf, is still going to be, $75, $80.
Yeah, it's not cheap. So that's good to know. I'm definitely going to look for that. But for those who don't know, on the 26th, July 26th, I'm going to be in New York for our 4-year anniversary. The Underdog Journey, 4-year anniversary.
4 years. Wes and I. Go ahead.
If we can keep up the pace, that'll be 4 years in a row without missing a week of the show.
Yeah. Wes and I are going to start shopping around for preschools for the Underdog Journey. It's that freaking old.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. Like the Underdog Journey and his 2 daddies. Cheers. Look at that face. That was gold. It got the response I was looking for. But man, this is freaking delicious.
Yeah, good.
It's 2 alcoholic daddies. Let's go with that.
You're not helping things, David. All right, let's keep this train wreck moving.
Wait. I was supposed to help something? I'm sorry. That wasn't in the show notes. Let me go back here.
It's true. You told me a long time ago you are not here to help the show.
I am not. I am not from the government, and I am not here to help. Nope, that's Facebook. The show notes, it says I'm not here to help.
It's true. Michael Piarino. I can't read it. But Michael, just so you know, I can't read. Michael Piarino Jr. says you are delirious.
So I'm not sure what that means. I think he means delicious. I'm delicious.
Or delirious.
So I just seen Michael a bit ago. I actually went down to Bear Creek, and which I struggle up here because I just call it Mike's because it's Mike's.
It's Mike's.
Hey guys, let's go to Mike's and get wings. So yeah, Mike, let's go to Mike's and get wings.
Yeah, David has talked about you. Mostly good things. So
mostly good things.
Yeah,
mostly good things. Oh, that might be a great one.
Yeah, John Calder.
So Central Point Liquor says $39. Yeah, $40. Yeah, $40. Okay, so it's about the same price here as it is there. And it is. I mean, if you're a whiskey or bourbon person, this is one you can drink. And if let's say you have people over and you have a person like, well, I don't really do a lot of brown liquor. You could pour this for them and they're still not going to like it because to them, all it's going to taste like is turpentine, but they're going to like it better than pouring, turpentine.
I've had
And
some that taste like turpentine. So, look, I'm going to get a lot of hate mail about this, but Tullamore Dew, in my mind, tastes like turpentine. But my current wife loves Tullamore Dew.
Really?
She loves it. I think it's because she has a lot of good memories from college drinking this stuff, and I didn't. I mean, I was not drinking. I was drinking Scotch in college, not Irish whiskey. So Tullamore Dew isn't really it for me.
Yeah. I've never been there is actually I believe it's on my shelf. The same right there. That little squat bottle right there.
Yeah, that's the one.
That way. There's Sexton. That's an Irish whiskey. That is probably one of the very few Irish whiskeys I've come across that I actually like. I know it was Jameson's an Irish whiskey too.
I love an Irish whiskey. I do. I like I actually like Jameson. I like the good. I like the cheap. Tullamore Dew though, and it just tastes like kerosene.
Yeah, it's people who are like, "Oh, Dave, you'll love this. You like whiskey, David. You're a bourbon. You're gonna love this Scotch." I'm like, whoa, slow down now. I'm not looking to just drink your leftover peat, okay?
I love a peaty Scotch though. I do. So
it is for some people. It is absolutely for some people. It is not for this people. I detest them to the utmost.
Oh,
and
man.
I had somebody give me, it was I think a 25-year Macallan or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a Highland or so. I have no idea. I know less about Scotch than I know about bourbon, and I know just enough about bourbon to be able to order it at a bar, and that's it.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, this is great. It's a nice bottle. It's a pricey bottle, that's for certain." I hated every single freaking. I drank it so slow. I drank it so slow. It was like, I'm like, hey, I'd like to wake this up with a little bit of ice. And I waited for that cube to melt all the freaking way down before I finished that, because
just too much. Yeah. So I think peat in Scotch is a lot like the hops in IPAs. So apparently some people love it, a lot of people hate it. You got to be one of those two. I still believe that most people make up that they actually like IPAs. I think people who don't understand what good beer is just they want to sound cool, so they say something like, "Oh, I'll have an IPA," and in the meantime, they actually hate it, but they drink it anyway, so they sound
okay.
Cool.
Agreed. Yeah, Roots and Trees and Friends and Things from last week, but that was a lager. So anyway, Michael Perino, because he did drop into our comments
how to pronounce his name,
phonic pronunciation of his name,
Perino.
I just call him Mike. Let's see there. Let's see. Show everybody the right. Hey, that's Dave that just left. So tell everybody I said hi. Live long and prosper.
So by the way, everybody, I'm just catching up on comments. I wasn't really paying attention. So,
Dave, did you move the Corvette garage? I don't have a Corvette anymore, man. I've got no Corvette, bud.
Yeah, he's not cool anymore. He got rid of the Corvette.
I'm not.
And the Harley.
I got a Harley. I got the Harley.
The Harley. I thought you got rid of that too.
Yeah, the Harley's right there, but I don't have a Vet anymore. I miss it. I'm gonna buy a new one.
As like your background, you need the Harley parked behind you.
So I thought about that, but then I didn't. So I thought about actually shooting the other way, but the other way is a freaking garage. I mean, this looks kind of cool right here, but you turn around, it's still a garage. I got a couple ladders here to reach the lights up on the top, and it's still a garage though.
Yeah, nobody has to know. Nobody has to know. So John Callender says he thinks pot smokers like IPAs because their taste buds are dead. That's probably true.
That's probably true. I'll tell you.
I think it's like smokers in general. Like, it just kills the taste buds.
So I disagree, because smokers in general, I have it right here. Actually.
That's why they drink Bud.
I have my buffet.
Oh, I don't mean cigar smokers. No, cigar smokers.
I got my lighter, my cutter, and I got a what is it? Nica Robusta. Yeah, Nica Robusta.
Yeah, see, not cigar smokers though. Cigar smokers actually have very refined palates. I was talking about like cigarette smokers.
Yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes years and years. It's been over 10 years.
Back when you drank Bud Light.
Back when I drank Bud Light.
You see the connections here? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You can't taste. Doesn't matter what you drink. Yeah, you can drink it out of a frosty glass. It won't make a difference.
Exactly.
So I've still got that other can of Roots and Trees and beer, Friends and Things here for you, because
that's funny.
I want to. Even if we end up drinking other things, and we will on the show on the 28th or whatever it is.
Yeah, 26th, I think.
Yeah, whatever day that is. But you've got to have. You've got to have that. I got to get your reaction on it live because I mean my
Yeah,
thing
you said
was
it tastes like dirt. Like I went.
it's dirt.
Yeah.
It
All right.
literally tastes like freaking dirt.
Now,
I
are you
don't know.
talking like dirt from the ground, like clay soil, like soil, or potting soil? I mean, if we're talking about dirt, are you talking about sandy dirt, like dirt from Texas
Oh,
dirt, New York dirt, Ohio dirt? It's very different.
it tastes like dirt.
It tastes
Now,
like
I have a semi-refined palate, but I have not honed that to the different flavors of soil across the great United States.
oh yeah, no, it's some is rich and oaky, some is going to be mildly
It's oaky and
peaty.
smooth.
Yeah, oaky and smooth. Some is
Yeah.
mildly peaty.
Wow.
John says Ohio has clay, so some will taste like dirt.
Yeah, when somebody says clay, I always think of like Georgia, because every time I go down there
Mhm.
and there's doing construction, I mean, they take that top layer of stuff off, it's red clay almost immediately.
Well, yeah. Well, this is a weird conversation to get into on this show, but I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
actually,
Ladies and gentlemen, dirt.
but I honestly think my whole neighborhood is built on like gravel backfill from some other development. Because literally every time I try and dig a hole, because my current wife wants another tree someplace random in the yard,
Hydrangea.
I'm literally digging through hundreds of like baseball sized rocks, and I seriously, this is no joke. I dug out a 200-pound block of granite. 200, not block, but like a granite stone. Thing weighs like 200 pounds. Dug that out in exactly the one spot where she wanted this tree. She wanted dead center. And I don't know how. She must have like the sixth sense for where the rocks are, because she's like, I want it right there. And guess where
Do
the
you
rock
do
was?
any hydrovacking? Any hydrovacking digging? Where basically they use basically a pressure washer and they have a vacuum. So you pressure wash and that's what busts the dirt up. And they have a vacuum that pulls the water and the muck and the smaller rocks out with it. So you're not sitting there manhandling it. So
Yeah, no, I use a shovel.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. That sounds like a day I don't want to have.
It's good
That
exercise.
sounds like the day before I go back to the hospital for a heart attack. That's what that sounds like.
It's very good exercise. And, luckily she kind of allows me to be a jerk for at least 10 minutes afterward. So that's I have that. That's the benefit of the job.
So you're gonna get this done, but you're gonna be allowed to bitch about it
Right, exactly.
for 10 minutes.
For about 10 minutes. After that, that's all I get.
19 hours spread over 3 days. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to bitch about that.
John, why do I put your comments on the screen?
Hydrovacking sounds like your next wife.
Oh, John.
I don't know if Nikki's watching, or I'd be like, my current wife.
As soon as I get comfortable with John being civil, I stop reading his comments. I put them on the screen. Thanks, John.
Yeah, he's got your back, bro. I'm trying to hunt up right now to see if Nikki's watching, or I can make other comments. But
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Let that go. We get a little hot on that thing.
Yeah, that's not. I'm sure her parents are very proud. I'm not talking about Nikki. I'm talking about the Haktua girl. So everybody who doesn't know what that
with
is,
the
go ahead and
money that
Google-
she's bringing in from that, I would
Google
be proud.
Haktua girl.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
yeah, if she's looking to make money on OnlyFans, that's one thing. But
Doesn't have an OnlyFans. She made that announcement.
so you've been following Haktua girl. By the way, Nikki
Of
Leffingwell
course.
says I'm watching, but think I've reached my limit. So
What?
yeah, Nikki, you're not alone.
She is proud of not having an OnlyFans.
Proud of not having. See,
reached
so
my limit. What are you talking about? Reach your limit.
there's no limit on this show, Nikki.
There
No
is
limits.
no limit. We have assessed that multiple times. We have come through with that.
Yeah.
This is very true. Okay. John says sorry, Nikki.
Yeah. John, you should be sorry. It's bad when David and I are the voice of reason on this show.
Yeah. If one of us had to be the voice of reason, bad things are going.
Something's
on.
wrong.
Yeah. We're gonna end up at the bar. That's just how that works.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't leave it up to me. I will end up at a bar. I mean, I don't necessarily have to drink at the bar, but the fun people are at the bar.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going to go.
Well, John says he's drinking at Germania, so I'm pretty jealous. That sounds awesome.
Ah,
That would explain why his current wife isn't watching. Anna must be doing her singing bit.
yeah. I was
She does
singing.
like German singing at Germania. So
Yeah. So what was that? We did something. Brats and Crafts. Arts and Brats and Crafts.
Yeah, that
Brought,
was cool.
brought something we did a couple years ago.
Yeah,
I'd like
that
to
was
go back
fun.
and do that again.
It was at that church. We got to figure out where they're doing that. Well, somebody moved away, so we
shit.
can't do random stuff like that.
I know.
Just saying, I genuinely thought you'd be back by now. I thought you'd be up there for about 6 months and you'd be back.
I got to tell you, and I openly admit this to everyone. It's nothing I'm ashamed of whatsoever. I did not have high hopes when I moved to New York. You know, being the person that I am, God, I love it up here. I freaking love it. Love my kids. My kids instantly integrated into the place. They have friends. My son's in a career. I mean, Nikki's still crackhead, but other than that, I mean, everything else is good. And she's making friends too and doing some other things. But all of it is just, I mean, I absolutely love it. And on the flip side of that, I want to absolutely hate California. I haven't had a bad meal.
Yeah, every time I've been to California, I've had a great time.
Oh,
I mean, it's been
I want to hate
years since I've been there, but every time I've been there, I've had a great time.
I want to hate it. I want to, but I can't. I freaking love that place. Now, I don't go back to Colorado very much. I usually just bounce through the airport there. That was the first place I went that I said I could live here.
Really?
But that was back before the pot went nuts. That was a long time ago, and that was again before the weed got a hold of it. I don't think I could handle it now. I mean, just the slightest whiff of that stuff, and I'm like, I'm ready to fight. Like,
so
if I've got to smell that, you should have a broken knee.
So you're saying pot smoke makes you violent? Yeah,
pot smoke. Instantly, I'm in a bad mood. If I smell that, I'm instantly in a bad mood.
I get it. Yeah,
I don't like it.
It's
not my thing.
So, you know, Ohio just passed recreational marijuana. So Ohio is going the same route as those places.
Oh, it's all.
Yeah. Good times. By the way,
it's the nationwide expanse of the Roman Colosseum. If you get that reference, you and I are friends.
Well, bread and circuses. We're all living in
bread and circuses. Exactly it.
Exactly.
I was gonna make the point without saying bread and circuses, but yes, that's it. Bread and circuses.
Speaking of bread and circuses, John Calendar says Brats and Crafts Fest.
Brats and Crafts. That's it.
The first weekend in August, and it's funny. John knew exactly what we were talking about, and
it was awesome.
It is our show, and he knows.
It was awesome. Yeah, I love that show. Because they kept bringing us beer. The one guy just kept coming by and bringing us beer.
He kept bringing us beer and like hot dogs and stuff, and it's like, this is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave us a tour of the church and was talking about some of the history between the different stages and everything of the church. And they had some really cool windows in there too. They have some really cool stained glass, whatnot.
Right. Yeah, I don't
know if you guys understand this or not or know this, but Wes and I are a bit nerds. So when somebody gives us a tour and a free history lesson, we're like, yeah, tell me more.
Also, the free beer helped.
The free beer did help. we had a lot of beer. I still have some of their cups. I love they had their little red cups. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, but John says Anna will be singing there the Sunday of that weekend. Actually, he says that weekend.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think we can allow that typo. Anna will be singing there the Sunday of that work it. Yeah. That weekend.
Yeah, it might be too late for us to
but then he said
do the show this year.
Not
but
visiting his house or not visiting his neighbors. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, because you're talking about hating pot smoke. He said his neighbors are. They like to partake.
Yeah, they like to partake of the ganja. That's what they call it, right? That's what the cool kids call it nowadays. The ganja.
Look, I mean, if there's one good thing that came out of the pot community, I'm going to say is the music. There's Bob Marley.
It's reggae. Awesome. It's Bob reggae. Marley. It's all one song. Don't give me that crap. It's one song.
Okay. That one song that is all of reggae is pretty good. I kind of like Bob Marley.
I hope you like Jammin' too. That's it. That's the only song there is.
That's the only one.
That's it. They all sound the same, man.
All right. Well, I would then go on to mention some of the other, bands of the 70s, but that's probably more psychedelic than weed. So, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd,
there was
The Doors.
The musical breaks in some of those songs were I believe, specifically designed so people could just get high.
Well, obviously, yeah. I think the two definitely went hand in hand. John Callender
So
says, "How about
John wasn't about
ska?"
ska.
Yeah, John, you can keep the ska.
I'm good. I'm good.
How about the Dave Matthews Band?
So
I say that knowing that John and his wife love.
John and
Matthews.
Anna are like
They're the ultimate
to,
fans.
Dave Matthews the way I am to Metallica. So
Yeah, Dave Matthews watches this show, by the way. So Dave, not you, Dave, the other Dave, give John and Anna Callender a wink high.
yeah,
Wink
give him a high five. And if you don't mind partaking, or people around you partaking of the ganja, again, I'm not really sure if I'm using that correctly. They go visit him at the house and have a good beer.
Yeah, if you like Satan's lettuce, go to John's neighborhood. Apparently,
Satan's lettuce.
I don't know the good terms. What do the kids call it these days? It's
I
no
don't
cap.
know. No. I was watching a movie. It was
They said cap in a movie.
No, they didn't say cap, and it was like The Gentleman or something. I was watching a movie called The Gentleman.
Oh, that's the Guy Ritchie. It's like a Guy Ritchie miniseries on Netflix, isn't it?
Well, there was a movie of it first.
Well, there was a movie first. You're right.
I'm starting into the, and I don't know who Guy Ritchie is, but I'm starting into the pickles. I'm starting into the series. I just started into the series,
Okay.
but super cheese,
Supercell,
super cheese.
super cheese. I know there's
Okay,
Supercell.
so super cheese is a weed strain, so that's
Super cheese.
And super cheese movie.
Super cheese.
Gentlemen, yeah, I'm gonna try to find
that's
it.
a thing.
It really White Widow super cheese or something like that. White Widow super cheese. It is. They have this weird ass name for it.
And you're saying that you don't like being around potheads.
No,
and you're watching something called the Widow's Super Cheese.
It's called The Gentleman. It's called The Gentleman, which is what lured me in. It was like British aristocracy and whatnot. I'm like, all right, cool, I can watch that.
What does that do with Super Cheese?
Well, that's what the guy's growing.
That's the name of the weed on the show.
That's the name of the weed.
That's
what they call weed on it.
That's where I wasn't understanding what you're saying.
And who the hell is it? Matthew McConaughey's in it.
Right.
So I was like, all right, Matthew McConaughey in a British aristocracy movie. I'm gonna watch this, and it took me a while to figure out that it was all based around.
It's all based around weed.
I struggle with movies like that to begin with.
You do. You have a hard time struggling with anti-heroes.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
You don't like the good guys who are doing bad things.
Yeah.
Or the hero.
I'm a good guy who does enough bad things. I don't want to watch him.
You don't like you don't like the protagonist of a series who is also technically a villain.
Yeah. The only exception I make is Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. That's awesome.
Deadpool's pretty. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Deadpool. But what? Yeah, so you never saw The Sopranos?
I have yet to see. I did finally watch part 1 and part 2 of The Godfather just within the past 6 months.
Okay, so yeah, watch. Here's what we're gonna do.
We're
gonna ease you into these types of movies and shows, right? So
you like watch.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You just gotta. Okay, I'm not going to go further with that analogy. Look, so you watched The Godfather.
That was me, myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey.
You watched The Godfather 1 and 2. That's great. I'd stop there. Now
that's what everybody tells me. They don't watch the third one.
I'd stop there. Jeff Leffingwell says, "Dude." So now what you want to do is you want to watch The Sopranos. After you get through The Sopranos, you need to watch Breaking Bad. And by the time you get all the way through both of those series, you are fully into the dark side, and you will embrace the anti-hero. I promise you.
I don't know.
You're missing out on a whole genre of
absolutely
terrible awesomeness.
But I also don't look at drunk goat porn either. That's a whole genre I'm not interested in either. So I mean, to each their own.
I mean, I'm not saying don't knock it till you try it, but.
No. I'm just saying that there's, I don't have to watch bad people doing bad things and be like, oh, they're kind of a good guy. Like,
right. It's bad people doing bad things, but you still want them to win because it's the antagonist or the protagonist of the show.
It's Darth Vader all over. And I think that's the person that started all this crap. The recovery and the rebirth of Darth Vader
No,
at the
you
end
know what?
of Return of the Jedi.
I say I'll go you one further and say it's not Darth Vader.
Mm.
It's Batman.
Oh, okay, well, yeah,
It's
Batman
Batman.
would reach back further, yeah.
It's Batman.
And some of the old school Batman, some of the old school original
Well,
Batman,
you know, in the first,
that was brutal.
well, you know that when he first came out, when in his first few appearances in Detective Comics, he actually carried a gun. He would just
the
straight up
45,
murder
yeah.
dudes. He'd shoot guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I say,
Anyway.
yeah, Batman, the original
How the
anti-hero.
holy hell did we get all the way, man? I don't know if anybody ever. If we should build a map. We should build a map off of our conversations.
Oh man,
and just we started in Hobbiton here, right? We ended up in Mordor talking about goat porn and Batman.
Yeah, we're already.
How did we get there?
Yeah,
over the Misty Mountains, through Mirkwood.
We're already biting off Frodo's finger and falling into the lava. So
yeah,
that's where we are now.
We're all kinds of Gollum tonight.
Jeff Leffingwell says Beavis and Butthead. So I actually do have a Batman reference for later in the show. So we're gonna keep it nerdy.
But do you have a Beavis and Butthead reference?
I don't. Oh, you know what? I do. Speaking of the anti-hero, bad guys doing bad things, but they're still kind of the hero. Breaking the law.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
So it worked in. We got that. So David, I do have a little bit of news.
Fire away.
And
let's get us back on track.
I could only find one news article that I found even remotely interesting that was not political. Everything else is in. If we had a political show, David, we could do a 24-hour live stream every single day. It's insane.
You know what? Now. So I actually, before we get into that, keep your news story ahead. So I was talking to somebody who was in marketing last week. And
that's me. That was this
well, no. There's another person. Their specialty is in naming things and coming up with a name that kind of fits the product and the kind of the message you're trying to carry with that product, right?
They're kind of more on the branding side than the marketing side.
More on the branding side. And there was a comment, we were talking, and they go, the current environment leans very heavy one way. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I'm trying to do it without being political here. And I said, we talked for a couple minutes. I said, you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing that there's a huge vacancy
on the other side.
In service on the other side.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to rebrand yourself as the go-to person in this now, rather empty, this not even emptied, it's vacuumed. So the difference between empty has nothing in it, but it's balanced. Vacuum is it's looking for things to draw in. So it's a vacuumed market space here that you can bring yourself and title yourself into. And we were talking about that again, sitting in a pub, smoking cigars, and doing stuff, because this is kind of what we talk about no matter where we are or who we're with. But yeah, it was a great thing. And, it plays in that whole same thing that you were just talking about. Like, you went through all the stuff you could find, one thing that was remotely interesting and at the same time wasn't political. That means to me that there is a whole news box out there that's being underserved, that's basically everything except politics.
Right. Exactly.
So if anybody out there wants to be a news anchor or something, there's a lot of space out there for you right now.
But politics gets the clicks right now, at least until January. So it's going to be, that's what we're getting between now and then. But so back to this news article. Okay, so
back to the news article.
Okay, so David, recently we have talked a bit about news stories around. First of all, there are computers made out of human brain cells that control AI, that control robots, right? Now, so we actually have organoids. These are computers built to run on human brain cells, lab-grown human brain cells. Okay, so we have that. Now, do you remember the article we talked about 2 weeks ago? That was the robot, the battlefield robot that was designed
that ate human flesh.
That was designed to eat organic material, in big quotes here. Organic material, so it can run essentially forever on the battlefield. Remember that article?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a robot that is run by computing on human brain cells. We have another robot that consumes organic material for an energy source. Here is this next news item here that I think is pretty interesting, and it's funny how all these things are eventually going to come together. So let's check out what she has to say here.
In a scientific breakthrough, Japanese scientists have found a way to attach artificially created living skin to robot faces for more realistic smiles and facial expressions.
Living
According to a team
skin.
of researchers at Tokyo University, this innovation comes from copying tissue structures in people. Look at this currently. The prototype looks more like gummy candies than human skin. Nevertheless, researchers say it
gets
paves a
worse.
way for making realistic and moving humanoid robots with self-healing skin that will not easily rip or tear.
Self-healing.
The artificial skin
it's
is
living
made in the
skin
lab
cells.
using living cells. The
Check this
study
out, look at
that
this.
is
Oh,
published
it's got
by the
It
journal
smiled at
Cell
us.
That's not
reports
creepy as
physical
hell at all.
Right. Yeah. You want to make something? Okay, we're gonna make this new technology.
All right, no. Okay, how many drinks would it take to get you to hit on that?
I don't know, man. Add eyelids. It's gonna be close. There's the smiles.
Wait. All the girls have the big eyelashes. I mean, that's really all it needs.
Well,
is
look,
eyelashes.
it's got a cute
Apparently
smile.
Women think we love that.
It's got a cute smile.
Oh, it's got an adorable smile. Look at those dimples.
How do we make this technology even more creepy? Add eyeballs with no eyelids.
Like, what did McDonald's do back in the late 70s and 80s with the Ronald McDonald? Yeah, let's make it that creepy +2.
Oh yeah. So this is living skin cells they're putting on robots now. Living skin.
Published in the journal Cell reports, Physical Science says that the robot skin is soft like real skin and can repair itself.
Oh, it's soft.
If cut.
Like real
but
skin.
The question remains, will
Did she
this
say-
human-inspired
What did she
skin
just say? Go back.
and can repair itself if cut? But the question remains, will this human-inspired
If cut.
skin of
If
robots
cut.
If
Okay.
cut.
sweat? Now, according to its researchers, that's not possible
Not
yet,
what I heard.
as the skin still lacks some of the functions and durability of real skin. Sweating and itching are complex physiological processes that involve nerves, blood vessels, glands in the skin, which aren't included in the current design of the artificial
Well, at least we know it
skin.
can't sweat
According
yet.
to the
That's good to
researchers,
know.
It will take many more
it can't
years
itch.
of testing for the technology.
Again, that's
so,
not.
if it reaches up and scratches, so that's going to be the thing. Is before you can hit on a person, you're going to have to make sure that they do
Right.
something that human.
Right. Are you
Oh.
sweaty at all? If you're not sweating, I don't know. That's you
Yeah.
might be a robot. But
To be honest, I did see a thing there that said 2024. For first date, you take the girl out to either a swimming thing where you're swimming like a lake or a hot tub or something.
Yeah.
Or something
What
like
girl
that.
wants to go to a
that
hot
you can
tub on
get
a
the
first date?
It's so you can get the makeup and stuff off them, so you can see what they actually look like.
That's funny. That's funny.
Now you're gonna be doing it just to see if they sweat. Hey, you want to play a nice handy round of pickleball?
Just to see if you sweat. So
Yeah.
the Only
That's
Bots community
Oh.
is probably loving this. But
The who?
the Only Bots.
Only bots.
Only Bots.
Dude, do you own that URL? Tell me you own that URL.
If somebody hasn't gotten onlybots.com, we got to find that. I know you're looking it up right now.
I'm already on it.
So David, now we have robots with computers that run on human brain cells that can eat organic material, including human flesh, as a food source, as a fuel source, and they will have living skin, living human skin. This is Terminator. We're living in Terminator times. And here's the weird thing: at what point if
it's a premium domain, $9,995.
of course, those jerks.
So somebody smartened up.
Somebody got real smart on that one. But so David, let me ask you. Okay, if it has a fully organic computer, if it
They're not
has
human.
hang on. I'm not saying human. If it has a fully organic computer to compute things, if it has an organic body and it can consume organic material as a fuel source, at what point can we no longer call it a machine and it's officially an organic organism? I'm not going to say alive, I'm going to say an organism. Organic organism. That's kind of redundant,
Okay.
but you know what I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying.
I get it. It becomes an organism and not a machine.
How far do you have to go, David? And here's the thing. At what point?
Can it reproduce?
Well, sure. Why not?
Hey, what you do on your own time's your own business. But I'm asking, can two of these, without constructing a third one, without going to the parts store and buying a third one, can the two of them create a third?
Well, is that your definition of what an organism is?
That would be because every organism down to that point can do that.
So you're saying the ability to reproduce organically.
Yes, that would be the level, right?
Or biologically. We'll say biologically.
Biologically, yeah, biologically.
Reproduce biologically.
Either way. Yeah.
Okay, that's a fair definition. I'll accept that. I'm just saying, look, if it's one of these super, I'll put in quotes, smart AIs running on an organic brain in an organic body that consumes organic material as a fuel source, it's really close to a biological creature.
It really is, but let's go to the simplest of single cell organisms. They still are able to split and create two organisms asexually from themselves.
Well, not necessarily. So different biological creatures can reproduce in different ways. If you look at viruses, viruses can't reproduce on their own. Do you know that? Viruses have to infect another living cell in order to reproduce.
Well, I mean, technically, I infected my wife with it.
Right, but my point is different biological organisms can reproduce in different ways.
But I'm not putting it in the shop and like, hey, go build me a baby and ship it to me.
Well, no, if it has a biological body, assuming you could grow one in a lab. What if they could grow one in a lab using their own genetic materials? Would that still count?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I'd have to give a little more thought than that on this than just on the fly. But I think they would have to be able to. The two of them, it doesn't matter. The two or one even would have to be able to split part of itself off, and that other part be able to grow. Jiminy Christmas, get that off the screen. That's creepy as fuck.
I'm just telling you, David. That's a face. Look, that's the baby. That's the face only a robot mother could love.
Oh my God, that is creepy. I mean, we have gotten into some creepy shit on here. That takes the cake.
And
that takes the creepy face human flesh cake.
So is the worst part that we're actually seeing this, or that the scientists thought this was the least creepy version of this they could put out into the public?
Why the eyes?
Why the eyeballs?
They don't work.
They don't make it look any better. The eyes are what make it really creepy.
It doesn't help.
This is like nightmare inducing. This looks like a burn patient.
Christmas. I am not going to sleep. That actually is a good use of technology there for something along this.
Right.
Realistic robot skin that heals itself. Why not take about, instead of trying to build a freaking cyborg to go back and kill John Connor, how about we treat some burn patients with this stuff?
Can you imagine if
not that face.
Can you imagine?
Not that face.
So first of all, I think we were speaking over the lady when she was talking at the end. She did say this same technology is being used to help people with skin disorders and grafts and things like that. So it is being used for that. But can you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back through time as this giant killer robot, and he looked like this? that movie would have been so different. I want somebody really smart out there to face swap this onto Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator.
Give me your jacket.
I think that might be my next project. I want to face swap this.
Chopper.
Get to the chopper. I just lost my face in it in the rotas. Yes. Nikki Leffingwell says so. I left to drive home from soccer and came back to this on the screen. Nikki, you came back at just the right time.
Yeah, that's creepy. That is,
and this was the least creepy thing they could think of when developing this technology. So imagine the stuff they developed that they're not showing us. I'm just saying. Yikes. All right. So should we just leave this on the screen as we do the rest of the show?
I will beg you not to do that. That is not good.
No, I saw that image. I'm like, David needs to see this on the show. This is what needs to happen. Right now.
You know what? Me in the bikini was not as disturbing as that.
I might have that image somewhere. I can pull that up.
I'm sure that you do, but we don't need to share it again. I'm just saying. I might call you at 2:00 in the morning and be like, "Hey, remember that picture you put up on the screen?" Fuck you, West.
Yeah, Laura Lyons Black says creepy.
Creepy,
yeah.
yes.
That's the least of it. So we'll be following that technology all the way up until doomsday, all the way up until the apocalypse.
Yeah, until it comes live and takes us all out.
Right. Yeah, so I will be face swapping.
We know that computers won't ever overtake the world. I mean,
well, we don't know that.
But we do know that.
We don't know that.
I mean, my computer had to restart 3 times a day, dude.
Maybe
because I haven't used it.
Well,
I haven't used it in a week.
Right.
And I turned it on, and it's like, oh, I've got all these updates, and if nobody's there to click the restart now button, it's just dead.
Well, David. Okay, so if we're using computer logic here, AI logic, every time it has a system error, it crashes and restarts, and it's good as new. What if whatever AI gets control of our nuclear codes, says society is messed up, we got to reboot this thing. Boop. Hits the reset button.
Would you like to play a game of chess?
Would you like to play a game of look at my creepy face?
No, I do not. No.
So anyway, we do know that CEOs of certain AI companies carry nuclear backpacks. Not nuclear, that's just called that because it will completely reset the servers of their AI platform just in case it starts to take over. That's actually a real thing. I'm not making that up, David. I'm just saying.
We talked about it on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So look, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that story, I'm not making it up. That's actually out there.
What is going on here? Who's texting me?
David's taking text during the show. All right. So
could be important.
Could be.
Oh no, it's Credit Karma going, hey, check your home equity. No. I got a great interest rate. I'm not messing with that. Go away.
Yeah, you want to refinance now at the worst possible.
No. Go away.
When the economy is about to crash. Actually, a couple. I did notice this. I wasn't going to bring it up because it's kind of really verging on politics. Some of the head people at the Fed came out just like yesterday and said that it's very, very likely within the next couple of years that we'll have a major, not reset. Market correction, a major market correction, meaning essentially a crash within the next couple of years. So, yeah.
Although, I mean, to be, it's way overdue.
It is
not to be political about it, but allowing huge corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard and a couple others out there to own vast majorities of residential properties. It's a bad idea. I mean, it created a false bubble, a huge false bubble on home values, and everybody's going to be reaping the problems of that. But instead of the last time we did this back in 2008, when the correction was there and it hit the individuals, that was bad enough.
Yeah.
Now, when you wipe out when you wipe billions off the books of massive financial places, it's going to be umpteen times worse, because not only do they have their fingers in the residential market, they also have their fingers in the commercial market. And if anybody knows anything about any freaking thing right now, commercial real estate is not doing well.
Well, David, and then you pile that on top of the fact that we lost the petrodollar.
Yes, yeah, that just so now I don't know if anybody understands that. Now, like places like Saudi Arabia, the huge exporters of oil.
Well, literally everyone in the world, essentially.
Yes.
Because
they can settle that sell in, it used to be, it was settled in dollars. Now it can be settled in dollars. It can be settled in Chinese, what's it called, yuan. And but there are other ones too. It doesn't actually have to be just those two. I mean, China will be the one that gets the most of it.
So in the past, we actually had a deal with Saudi Arabia to where you could only buy oil in U.S. dollars. And because Saudi Arabia was the largest producer, largest exporter of oil, this sort of spread out to the rest of the oil market around the world. You just basically had to use dollars for oil. And that secured the value of the U.S. dollar, which is another reason why we went off the gold standard. Lots of reasons, lots of conspiracies around that. But that's one of the things that coincided with the going away from the gold standard is the petrodollar. We no longer needed gold to back it up. We had the oil value. But now Saudi Arabia, just a couple weeks ago, said, nah, we're going to start taking other currencies. So now everybody is saying, oh, we'll also take other currencies. So basically, the intrinsic value of the U.S. dollar, being the petrodollar, is now gone. And we're hoping, crossing all of our fingers, that there might actually be a little bit of gold left in Fort Knox. We'll see how that goes in the next couple of years.
Well, it depends on what rumors. I mean, I think the Anunnaki came in 2001 and took it all.
So anyway, maybe we send it all over to. Never mind. I'm not going there. Let's move on.
Come on, man.
No, I'm not finishing that. I'm not finishing that thought. We're not getting political. We're not getting political. I'm not getting
the Anunnaki. That's not political.
The Anunnaki is probably the least political thing we've said today.
Yes.
Galactic politics don't count. We can talk about that.
Yes. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome if we. Oh, right there is a show that's just galactic politics.
Ooh, yeah. Let's. Okay, we could do a show on. We could actually do a show on that. Like that'd be our new weekly show.
I could run. I mean, and there's nothing to stop anybody from running for galactic
president of the galaxy.
Position. I could run for president of the galaxy, host the election, be the only voter in that election, and actually carry the official title of president of the galaxy with all rights and honorarium thereunto.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That's
not a bad idea. So,
I say genius. Now I drink a lot. So.
You just remind me of another news article that was really close to that. Actually, did you read about this guy who was selling plots of land in heaven?
Oh, I know about the guy who's selling real estate on the moon.
No, there's actually a guy who's selling real estate in heaven. So apparently, God gave him permission to sell real estate in heaven. So he set up this whole website to where you can buy mansions and certain amounts of real estate in heaven. And when you get there, it's all yours. And apparently, this website's made millions of dollars so far. I'm going to try and find a news article on this. Or you're looking it up now. But yeah, so this guy actually did this. He's made millions of dollars. And I don't know if people are buying this just as a joke.
Church in Mexico is selling plots. $100 a square, something or other. Here, let me get down to it here. $100 per square meter.
In heaven?
In heaven, yeah.
You think there'd be more land available?
Permission from God. Pastor and Toms, who claims to have received permission from God. The church is offering heavenly real estate for the simple price of $100 per square meter. Pictures of the offer have been circulating on social media, showing brochures, blah, 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 blah. Permission from God, pic.twitter.com, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
So look,
let's see here.
I mean, I'm sure he'll be, he might have to pay that back when he gets to the other side. I'll say it that way. But in the meantime,
I just picture God there wearing a suit, got some glasses on, got like 5 rings on each hand. Where's my cut, Sonny?
I have a feeling he might be paying some back dues on that when he gets to the other side. But,
Jesus over there all like
but in
cracking his knuckles and stuff. But in
the meantime, look, he's made real actual money here on Earth, and there's nothing stopping him from doing that.
So, unfortunately, this is not the first instance of someone selling real estate in heaven. In 2018, a Zimbabwean pastor arrested after selling tickets to heaven to his congregation.
How can he get arrested?
Zimbabwe. Yeah. $533 a person. Similar last year, a Ugandan pastor persuaded many of his followers to liquidate their assets, including land, livestock, to fund their eternal purchases.
You know, I'll admit, if I were an atheist shitbag who didn't care about, who was basically a sociopath, didn't care about anybody but myself, I would consider doing that. That's kind of a good idea.
You're saying it's a hedge?
There's obviously a market for it. There's obviously a market for it.
From the sales aspect, you wouldn't buy one as the head.
No. I'm not buying. I'm selling, man. Look, if there's one thing they're not making any more of is land in heaven. You gotta sell that while you can.
Well, I mean, it's God, so if he needs more land, I think he can handle that.
Yeah, but if God makes me his dedicated real estate agent, who am I to say no?
Yeah. Who are you to say no? You can't argue with divine intervention there.
Can't argue with the big man upstairs. And look, the property's only going to appreciate in value.
Yeah, it's only going up.
Right, going up.
Oh, I'm gonna have to answer to St. Peter for that one.
Yeah, he's not letting you in.
He's like, dude, we laughed a lot, but nah.
Yeah. You know, I know you moved to New York. It's all over. You're out. Oh boy. Wait a minute. What are we talking about? We have an agenda, man. We do have an agenda.
Agenda. We've been on for an hour.
I based this agenda on one of your favorite quotes.
I know. I love this quote. And when I seen that you had based this off of that quote, I said, yes. I was down with Mike down at Bear Creek, and I'm sitting there reading through. Actually, I read through it earlier. I was down there again. I cut it on the other email. I was like, he built this off of one of my absolute favorite quotes.
That's right.
I use this all the damn time when people go, well, you need to go slow down, pump your brakes. I'm going to tell you something that I learned from Frank Sinatra, not Frank Sinatra, Abraham Lincoln.
You were so close. The two have a lot in common. Sinatra, Lincoln. Yeah. I mean, they were
same thing. They both had goofy hats. Abraham Lincoln, and I go through the quote, and sometimes you can see the light go off, and they're like, oh, okay, all right. And then there's a apocryphal story that goes along with it as well. So, yes, John Callender said agenda. Yes, Ron Burgundy, we do have an agenda tonight. It's a great one. So I want to get rolling into it. I just poured myself the second of my drinks tonight. So,
right.
I'm ready to shut up. This is when I shut up the most and Wes takes over.
Well, so after I sent you the agenda, I thought that I should have had a T-shirt ready so we could start hawking that. But I will go ahead and make this T-shirt. And I'm going to send you one, David, or I'm going to send you one of these T-shirts. So the quote, one of David's all-time favorite quotes, and actually one of my favorite quotes too, was from Abraham Lincoln when he said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." That's a great quote, man. And
really
for most people, I'll admit, that probably means next to nothing. But if you think about it in any sort of a business or perspective as it relates to life in general, it means preparation is everything.
Yeah. Chance favors the prepared mind.
Exactly. So look, I told you I had a Batman reference later in the show. This is what it is. Why does so if you have a battle between Batman and Superman, who's going to win 9 out of 10 times? 9 out of 10 times, it's always going to be
I'm going to go Superman.
It's going to be Batman 9 out of 10 times.
Superman.
You would think Superman, but it's not. It's always Batman. Do you know why? Prep time. Batman has prep time, and he plans for everything. He prepares. He spends time sharpening his axe. So no matter what happens, he's always prepared. So we compiled a list of the 7 essential tips that you need as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as anybody who wants to get ahead in life. Ways that you can sharpen your axe and get ahead in life and business.
Yes. So the 7, I like that. That's the number of Horcruxes that
it is the most magically powerful number. So I like the number 7. Lucky number 7. Here we go. 7 ways that you can sharpen your axe to get ahead in life. Number 1, especially in business, identify your mission. Right? So we've talked about this in the past. You need to clearly define your purpose, whether it is for anything you want to achieve. So whether it's providing unique service, offering, low-cost items, or being environmentally friendly. You need to define your purpose, your mission for what you want to do with your product, your service. If you have a goal in life, why? You need to have a why. Not to quote Simon Sinek, which is another guy we could do a whole show on. I don't know if you know who he is, David, but he's amazing.
Not I know the name, but I don't know why.
Simon Sinek. He's big about finding your why. He's sort of motivational speaker. He's actually really good. You'd love his stuff.
Yeah, Zig Ziglar.
He was a football coach, I think.
Pro football coach.
Yeah, exactly. So define your purpose, no matter what you're doing.
Oh my God, that's going back. That's going back to like episode 2 or 3, man.
That's really far
Maybe
back
even
there.
1. I don't remember. It was old. The Zig Ziglar. That was the Zig Ziglar coach joke, by the way. In case you guys don't get that, it literally is a reference all the way back to like episode 1 or 2 of the Underdog channel.
I always have that sitting on the top of my brain.
There's 210 of them, so we have a lot of material to remember.
It's true. Yeah, holy moly. John Callender says Superman's too busy using his X-ray vision. Yeah, come on. You know that teenage Clark Kent was like, he was looking at stuff he shouldn't have been looking at. You know he was. Come on. He was not always
have been looking at
good and innocent.
Shouldn't. So John said, so why is your beautiful 128-ounce growler on the shelf and not full of beer? I don't.
Yeah, David, the one that was gifted to you from a group of gentlemen who really appreciated your service.
So it will be full of beer at some point soon. I've got the wrench that came with it. I got to tear it all apart, replace some seals and everything in it, and basically rebuild it. And then I'll probably try to bring it with me on the 20, whatever it is, 28th, whatever that Sunday is. I have to be back in Columbus.
Yeah, so 26th is our show in New York. 28th, I think you said you're going to be in.
So 28th, I'll be back. So I'm going to try to get it repaired and rebuilt by the 28th so that I can bring it back to Ohio with me and get it filled with some delicious. If I'm going to fill it up, I'm going to fill it with good beer. I mean, let's just all.
See me in Hofbrauhaus, Columbus, Hefeweizen.
Columbus, Hefeweizen beer. That's what's coming home.
There you go.
And I'm going to put it inside of a cooler. I've already got a cooler ready to go for it, a chili bin. I'm going to put it in there, some ice packs. I'm going to keep my beer cold.
That is possibly one of the coolest growlers I've ever seen, by the way.
Yeah, I love that thing.
Yeah.
I love that thing. So, yeah. So we've talked about identifying your mission multiple times over the years, almost 4 years now. Defining your purposes and, having those mission guides and making decisions that go and always point towards that goal. So if I'm here, it's not a straight line. We all know that. Life in general is not a straight line. Sometimes we got to step to the right. Sometimes we got to step to the left. Sometimes we have to take a couple steps backwards. But always the goal is there. And defining that goal and identifying your mission, which was the number 1, is going to be extremely important.
Right. And that's in everything you do. So even small things. Why are you doing it? If you don't have a mission, if you don't know why, you're just wasting your time. So define your mission. That's your number 1 thing to really start preparing and sharpening that axe. Number 2 is create goals. I'm not going to go into all the SMART goals. We've talked about those, but I'm just going to go through really high level. Set specific, measurable objectives, right? So beyond just your mission, your why, you need to set measurable goals. How do you know you achieved this thing? You need to say, I need to do minimum of this thing in order to have this thing achieved. Keeping your goals keeps you focused and provides direction as you grow. So again, it's as far as defining your mission, a lot of people call that a North Star, but you can't have a true North Star without also having a measurable end goal in mind. You need to decide where you have reached this goal.
Yeah. And that's that's setting up mileposts and, kind of waypoints along your path to say, instead of being binary, is this done or is it not? Did I successfully, let's say I'm trying to get from here to Columbus. Did I successfully get from here to Columbus? Well, there's a lot of miles in between where I am and Columbus, Ohio. So in between there's a lot of mileposts, though. There's a lot of mile markers and signs. Did I get to Rochester? Did I get to Buffalo? Did I go past the Hofbrauhaus in Buffalo without going and get a beer? Did I continue on through that last stretch? Once you get to Buffalo, you're like, Buffalo's just inside New York. No, it's freaking like an hour and 10 minutes. So getting to Pennsylvania is a big marker for me. So setting it's the reason I'm using the roadway for this is because it's very measurable. And it's something that you need to do as well. Like what percentage of your complete task, and this doesn't have to be to your overall goal. You could actually set those measurable waypoints in the individual tasks that have to be there. So when Wes was setting up the Underdog Bones, peanut butter brew bones. And I'm going to focus on those because when he first set those up, the goal is I can sell them nationwide. Well, there are 50 states plus some protectorates and the District of Columbia. So each one of them is a waypoint along the way saying, I collected this, I've gotten this. And inside of each one of those is dealing with the Department of Agriculture and Department of Commerce for all of these individual states that build up to it. So the overall thing is, can I sell nationwide? Yes or no? That's a binary decision or a binary answer. There's a lot of variables that go inside of that, and setting yourself something that you can measure. Not only does it does two things. It helps you keep very good track. It can also feed your passion, because seeing some success in one of those tasks can really, for really lack of better term, springboard your next attempt. So the first one you may have put 50 hours into getting through, the next 15 of them may take you 3 to 4 hours total. So it can really do a lot of things in setting those measurable goals. So, create the goals and keeping focused on them is a huge, huge way to be successful.
Right. So one of the reasons one of the things I was thinking about with coming up with this agenda, by the way, your video froze. One of the things I was thinking about when coming up with this agenda was the idea that, especially in business, a lot of people think, you know what, if some random college student can come up with some dumb idea like the Facebook and become a billionaire within a few years, anybody can do it. Just have a good idea, just jump into it, and you can be a business mastermind overnight. And that's just unfortunately not the case. I mean, it takes a lot of time and effort to build your idea, to get the skills necessary to be able to build the business also. I mean, it's just not going to happen on its own. It takes work. I mean, every CEO, here's the thing, everybody started at zero, right? Whether it's social media, whether it is becoming a billionaire, whether it's becoming, eventually the world's first trillionaire. Everybody starts at zero, and it takes time to build the skills necessary, especially when you're putting out a product. You don't know the things you don't know about building a business. There are so many ins and outs and laws and regulations and rules and, best business practices and tax regulations, all kinds of things you need to figure out as you're doing it. So it's preferable when it comes to sharpening the knife to learn these things ahead of time, right? So again, that's one of the reasons why setting goals, having missions in mind, and planning ahead really come in handy. So you can plan for all of these things and learn all the things you don't know yet before you're just jumping out there trying to do it. So,
yes. So there was, I don't even know what okay, I got to look this up. Because I was a huge fan of this. I am woefully guilty of this. Woefully. Okay. And when I announce it, you'll know exactly this. Leroy
Jenkins.
What year was that? 2005. So 2005, there was, and this is a game I never played. I think it was World of Warcraft.
It's World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's
Leroy
World of Warcraft.
Jenkins.
Yeah, it was not something I've never played World.
That might have been one of the first major internet memes.
It was great.
Because people still say Leroy Jenkins, and most people have no idea what it means.
I love it. I see somebody the other day who's like, you know what? I'm bringing back Leroy Jenkins. I'm like, yes.
I was watching SpongeBob with my kids. And they have this guy who does random stuff, a fish who does random stuff, and his name is Cannonball Jenkins, and that's where it came from. He always says Cannonball Jenkins.
Yes, it's great. So anyway, there's like this whole group of them, because again, I don't know a lot about the game, but there's this whole group of them that are getting ready to go through a gate or a door or something, and there's a huge battle on the other side they're getting ready to get into, and they're all out there planning, right? And they're all out there just really putting the plan together. It's West, right? West is out there leading the way, saying, "Hey,
somebody has the bullet points saying, hey, you equip this.
They're going down there. I need you to
give us this healing magic.
Some healing magic. Yeah, all this stuff he's going on and doing stuff. And this one guy, Leroy Jenkins.
And he just runs in and starts the battle.
Through the freaking door, and they all die. Every one of them dies. But it was like, I was like, yes, that is.
So David, that is you.
That is so me. Like, you know what? We'll figure it out. Let's go.
Yeah.
Enough talk. Let's get out of here. But yeah, it is. I mean, and with that passion that I just did, I mean, I had to really put myself into that one because that whole thing, I was like, that is so me. And that's why I work so well with Wes, because he keeps me, Dave, no Leroy Jenkins today, bro.
That might be our new thing. Yeah. Hey, David, no more Leroy Jenkins for a while.
No.
Let's pull it back a little bit.
So John Counter said his new life goals, and he's setting them out here, is to get Wes to put up inappropriate comments on the Underdog journey.
Yeah, I already put that up on the screen. That was good.
Yeah.
All right, so
he has made some success in that goal.
Yeah, I know. It's my dumb fault for not reading John's comments before I put them up on the screen.
Well,
so
you're busy there. Okay.
Number one was identify your mission. Number 2, create your goals. The next couple are more business related than like personal goal related. But number 3 is
no, I can make it all personal.
Not all of them, but number 3 is build a strong team. So there is a project I'm working on that most people don't know about, and I'm keeping it that way on purpose. And one thing that I need to do is there are some things that I can't do, that I don't have the time, or they're just right outside of my realm of expertise. So I'm looking for people who can do certain things as part of this team for this thing.
You're not going to Leroy Jenkins it?
For this thing that I'm building. Right. Yeah, it's you can't Leroy Jenkins this. So, one thing I need to do is build a strong team. And part of that comes in to the idea of anybody who runs any kind of a team. You want a team of people who can do this job better than you can. You want people who are preferably smarter, preferably better, preferably know a lot more about how to get this job done than you do. As the boss, your job is to direct. You have the big overall vision. You say, I need this done. You are good at this. Do this part. You are good at this part. Do this part. And you want a strong team. I have been very guilty in the past of complaining when my boss at certain times had no idea what I did or what I was doing. Part of that was actually my fault for not necessarily communicating what I might be doing at any given time. But at the same time, I was kind of bitter about the fact that he had no idea how any of this worked. And I would have to often go back and say, that's not how any of this works. But the point is, that wasn't his concern. His concern was the big overall vision. He needed this done, and it was my job to do these things. And you need to build a team who is better at these things than you are. I remember
having this conversation with you.
I do. I do too.
And this is the thing. This goes to not only when you are working for a person that may not have the skill set that you have in a specific niche. It also goes for when you are promoted.
Yeah,
when you get a promotion. Let's say you work in a call center, okay? And you get promoted up to a supervisor. Your job is to supervise. Your job is not to go and tweak with each individual person to make them you. Your job is to supervise. There are going to be people who are not as effective as you were, and you still have to let them do their job. They're still part of the team, and they can still be part of a strong team, because not every conversation you have do you need the big heavy hitter on.
Right.
You are perfectly capable, and some people that call in for XYZ or this, that, and the other, it is a quick Google search can provide the answer. The person didn't really need to call in, but they do anyway. So just because that person's not an A-lister or a heavy hitter doesn't mean they don't have a place in your team. But your job has now shifted to a supervision and making sure that they have the tools they need to execute their job. So building that strong team is just absolutely key, and understanding that there are places that are there that doesn't necessarily have to bring a heavy hitter at every part. And one thing that I would absolutely leave a company over, let's say I did I just got an email today. It's one of the things I've seen, mid-year review or something like that came up. And, I have a lot of strong points. Got more than a couple of weak points too. But if my boss ever comes to me and says, well, all all we're going to do is focus on strengthening your weak spots, I'm out. I can't work for that person.
Right.
That person to me is an automatic idiot, and I will never think anything of them elsewise. I'm sorry. You want to ignore. You want me to use my weaknesses and not my strengths. Indeed, I'm looking for a job. That is
Right.
exactly what would happen that same exact day. So, yes. What is going on in our comments here, Wes?
Well, yeah. So I didn't put that on the screen.
And
Anna says, "Stop it."
Okay, so Anna's got our back. Good job.
Anna does have her back.
I would give you the peace sign, but every time I do that, the Skype thing wants to lock up. So
It does. It doesn't like that. So
it does.
but so here's the thing. If you are in a position to where your boss doesn't know what you do,
Yeah.
because he or she just doesn't know how it works, it's just not their world, don't feel bitter about it. Don't be insulted by it. You should actually feel complimented, because chances are you are in your role specifically because you are an A player at your game. Your boss isn't in their role because they're great at your job. You're in your role because you're great at your job.
Exactly. And your boss may actually be bragging their ass off about how good you are at your job.
It's very possible. And look,
Yes.
and a lot of people, and look, there is actually a trap. There is a trap, and especially in a lot of big corporate roles, where if you are an A player in a certain role, a lot of bosses don't want to move you up because they need you in this role. But at the same time, a lot of bosses aren't necessarily like that. And if you can understand the fact that their job isn't necessarily to know your job, but if you can graduate beyond knowing just your job, and you can actually direct other people who know your job, and you don't need to do that work anymore, but you can direct, guess what? Then you are eligible to move up. But you need to first understand that when you graduate up to that higher level, you're not doing that lower level job anymore. Your job is then to direct and have better people underneath you. And that's how everybody can grow on this same ladder, right? So building a team underneath you means hiring people who are essentially better than you at those roles. And that's why you need to build a great team.
Yeah. And building that great team, when you get your get your drink later. I'm ready to say the word North Star. When you have your North Star, and we drink now, as you do. And when you have that North Star and you start hiring all these people that are excellent in those roles, and everybody is pointing towards that North Star, you're going to be amazed. We owe 3 drinks, by the way. You're going to be amazed how cohesive and how effective. You'll notice I'm absolutely staying away from a very specific word. Very effective at accomplishing goals. And you will start seeing that when you talked about the measurable objectives, you will start seeing those getting chewed up just very quickly. You will start working your way through them very, very easily when you have that team put together.
So Anna then says, "I got your backs." John Calendar says, Anna's stopping my life goals. Anna says, "I'm stopping you from being stupid, saying stupid stuff on the internet."
No, there should be nobody stopping us from saying stupid stuff on the internet. That is what the Right Honorable Elon Musk has battled for.
GFY. John Calendar. West is describing my life as Xerox.
Okay.
Don't get to the door at your job.
Don't get too good at your job.
Yeah,
okay.
It's true, and it's a trap. And you know what? Unfortunately, there are those bosses who will specifically hold you back. And I've been in those roles, and I've moved beyond those roles. If you are in one of those roles, it might be time to start shopping around. But don't necessarily shop around just because your boss doesn't understand what you do. Maybe he knows that you're better than he is, or she knows that you're better than she is, and you're in this role specifically because you're great at your job. You need to understand that too. So that's why you need to build. If you're building a team, build a team under you that is better than you, smarter than you. This is what all of the best leaders do. They hire people under them who are actually better than them at that specific role. That was number 3. Number 4 is
before we get to number 4, John has some very sad news that he posted up there. He says, "I just got home and found that I drank all my Travelers."
Oh man, John, you still got a little bit of Pappy. Drink your Pappy Van Winkle.
So I had the Pappy. We had the Pappy. We were there.
We did.
It was good. I mean, It's a Weller, basically. I mean, to me, it's just a Weller. Um, this right here is delicious. I mean, the Traveler whiskey, that's good. And I would say that I'm not a sucker for the the celebrity,
Yeah.
but my stash of blackened whiskey in there kind of rats me out. But this was pretty good.
I want to find a bottle of that now. That sounds pretty good.
Oh, he went for the infinity bottle. He's doing an infinity pour tonight. Ah, sir.
Oh, John, you're doing the infinity bottle. Nice. Always a
doing
good
infinity
job.
pour.
So
Oh,
everybody
man.
who's watching and listening who don't know, the infinity bottle is where you take the last little bit of each bottle and you pour it into the same bottle. It has to be the same type of liquor. So bourbon, scotch.
Yeah, don't do tequila and
Don't do
beer.
like tequila and yeah, day old beer. But yeah, so John, is this mainly bourbons? You're a bourbon drinker. Is it going to be scotches?
It's good bourbon. forget it.
So I'm sure people who drink a lot more whiskey than I do actually have it out, scotch, whiskey, rye, Irish whiskey. But you're right,
So-
infinity bottle. So I actually have two. I have a scotch infinity bottle and I have a bourbon infinity bottle.
Oh, nice.
So so I haven't yet. I've been debating whether I should put Irish whiskey into the bourbon because it doesn't belong in the scotch.
Well, it doesn't belong in the bourbon either. Don't screw that.
Right,
up.
that's what I'm saying. So I haven't done it yet, and I've been holding off. So I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah, I would just drink.
I might
that
start a
still.
third. I might start a third for
Yeah,
miscellaneous.
there you go. Third's not bad.
Miscellaneous.
That's a third word.
So
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, random stuff. See what happens. I mean, you can't go. I mean, let's say you have a pour of something like Proper 12. You can't get anything worse than that. So, I mean, it's only
you know what? And
about
really, what's the worst that can happen? My kids turn into teenagers, and they eventually steal it anyway. So it's it is what it is.
Your kids are going to be downstairs like, don't touch that. That's poison. Can I have my all organic carrot root juice? Which I think
My
carrot
son
technically is the root-
my son would actually
Yes,
steal a shot and
while
then
they're
he'd feel bad
dissecting
about it.
insects.
Yeah, my son would feel bad about it and then apologize the next day. So that's my daughter. She'll be tough. I'm gonna have a hard time. I might have to start locking
yes.
the liquor cabinet at that point. I might have to get a liquor cabinet at that point.
My son is 19 years old. He'll be 20 here in a couple months. I don't ever worry about my liquor. I mean, I've got nothing's locked up. In the sunroom it's where the tequila, the rum, the vodka, and all the mixers and all that stuff is in there.
Yeah.
In my office is where all of my bourbon is, and then I've got a few out here. Just more. These out here is more for decorations and whatnot. But I have it out here as well, and I don't worry about the boy at all. He doesn't touch it. I mean, he might drink a beer if like, hey, you want to drink a beer? No, we have beer. Penny, on the other hand, that one worries me.
You know what? When she's a teenager, I have a feeling you might have to start locking stuff up. So John Gallagher says,
start him
John, I
young.
shouldn't have put that on the screen. For legal reasons, I probably shouldn't put that on the screen. John says, start him young. Jack has tried everything I have.
Oh. Yeah.
Jack's a good
little
kid.
taste of something wrong. Yeah, Jack's a good kid.
I do remember my first taste of beer, and I remember as a kid being sickened. It is what it is. Kids don't like beer generally.
Yeah.
But I dipped into my parents' liquor cabinet once or twice.
My parents did not have a liquor cabinet.
So my dad
parents
was
did not drink.
So my dad was in the Air Force, and he would always travel. He'd fly everywhere, all over the place, and everywhere he went, he'd bring back a bottle of just something random. And he doesn't drink either, so he'd had like dozens and dozens and dozens of bottles just all over the place that never got drank except from us who would drink them. And by the time I graduated high school, most of those bottles had to be mostly water. I don't think he ever tasted any of it, so I got lucky.
I need some. Here's a whole bottle of vodka we brought back from Hawaii trip. I know that 75% water because I drank it and yeah.
That's awesome. All right.
So yeah. Okay. So we've talked about identifying your mission, creating your goals, building a strong team. Up to number 4.
Number 4 is make the best product or service possible. So the funny thing is when the economy not too long ago was really hopping and stuff was pretty inexpensive and people had lots of disposable income, the quality of a product really didn't matter. You could put out crap as long as you were first to market and you put out crap and you dumped a ton of money into marketing. Guess what? You sold a ton of your product, whether it was good quality or not.
I got cred, bitches.
And that was
I got cred.
Exactly.
If you get that joke.
And that was a real honest thing. And most 90% of the stuff they sell on Amazon is a prime example of that. Not to riff off what David just said with Prime, but now that the economy's getting tighter, people are really pinching their pennies. People aren't buying just anything. They're looking at reviews. They're looking at they're asking their friends. They're looking all over the internet to find out if something is a good quality or not.
Yeah, it's opportunity cost.
Before you put something out of the market, you need to make it the best it possibly can. Now, don't get analysis paralysis. Don't spend 10 years building a product, and by the time you get it out there, nobody wants it anymore. You need to be quick, but at the same time, make it the best product possible. Do your research. Do your product development research. Test it. Make sure it's good. Get great customer service behind it if there ever is a problem, but make it the best experience for your customer. If you take care of your customer, they will take care of you, which is why you need to develop the best product or service possible. That's number 4. So it's not super exciting, but as far as sharpening your axe and preparing, it is vital that you really spend time and hone in on what makes your product or service good. So I don't have a lot of comments on that. That's pretty basic, but it's super important. And a lot of people kind of forget about it.
We can't do that. We can't do that.
Well, a lot of people unfortunately still have the philosophy of build it and they will come. That's not the case anymore. Right? Just because you put something out there doesn't mean you're going to sell a ton of these things. You need to make it good. If people are going to spend their money, especially these days, it needs to be good.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so I mentioned the words opportunity cost right now. So it's that's more than normal, and I think it's actually going to get worse before it gets better. Yeah. Much like most economists, I am not an economist. I do not play one on TV, but I'm not stupid. Making that best product or service possible. And I've talked about this a lot, where you let's say you don't have the greatest of product. You have a product that could be beat by, I want to make up a name of a company. Something outlandish that is absolutely not a business. Stillwell water fountains. Okay, I don't know. I don't think they make them, but
Stillwell water fountains. Ticklers, something.
So, no, we're gonna stick with the water fountains.
That's transcribed on the internet forever now.
Yeah. Well, it's under your voice, so go for it. That's going to be in your targeted ads next week, not mine. So you're going to have to share the link for me. Anyway, I really should have been in comedy, man. I missed an opportunity somewhere along my lines. Somebody was like, man, you should go into stand up, and I should have been like, yeah, let's do that. But I didn't.
You missed your calling, David.
Yeah, I really did. Yeah, people all the time, they talk to me like, what do you do? And I hesitate. So answering actually what I do is wildly complicated. It takes
I sell propane and propane accessories.
Exactly. So I boil it down now. I'm like, I'm in sales.
Right.
It's just too complicated to explain what I actually do. So I'm in sales. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And they move on. I'm like, oh, thank God. But making your best service. So I'm a huge advocate for, customer service. I've not been very quiet about this on the show. We've
had some interesting shows where you're just spend the whole show ranting about customer service.
Oh my Lord. So that
might have been some of my favorite shows.
That was the first one. I remember the very first one. I was dealing with a couple banks and whatnot, and customer service. And I was talking to you before the show, and I mean, I was heated. My ears were red. I hadn't had a drop of alcohol, man. My ears were red.
You came in angry, and I was like, I remember that show. I actually had an agenda planned out. I was like, we're skipping the agenda. We're talking about this.
It did. We're on the show now. He doesn't tell me this. We get on the show. I get my beer finally into my ear levels. My redness is coming down. The Hefeweizen is phasing out. I'm like, all right, I can get through this. I'm in about 1.5 liters in before the show starts. And we're going through, hey, welcome to Underdog. And we're live. Welcome to Underdog. Joining my name is Dave. This is Wes. And then he's like, so Dave, tell me about customer service or something like that. And just boom. It was like 40. And now I talk a lot and I know it. I'm well aware of it. I really try to dial it back some. Not that night. That night, Wes was just like, I'm going to light the fuse and watch the freaking fireworks.
Oh, yeah. I just sat back. I was like, this is easy. This is good.
Yes, it was a great show. And we got really good analytics. We got a lot of good
We did.
interactions on that video as well. So, making that best product or service. And I like the thing you said about market, kind of like where the market is at any given time.
Yeah.
If you were just a few years ago, let's say in 2019,
Mhm.
2019 or early 2020, it didn't really matter. And then let's say, there was a little bit of an arc up where disposable income was still there for the vast majority.
Mhm.
But with inflation, for any reason, not political.
We're not getting political.
Not political, but inflation and other things that have absolutely sapped people from disposable income, having that good quality product. So I will buy things that I know I have to replace every 2 years. If something tells me it's going to last for 10, I know I'm going to have to replace it in 2.
Right.
I will buy the cheaper product that I know is going to last me 2 years in 1 month.
Right. Yeah.
Because
You're totally right.
I've got to replace it in 2, and I'm going to replace it in 2 years anyway. It doesn't matter. But if I've got something that says, hey, I'm going to last for 10 years, I know if it doesn't break, I don't have to replace it for 10 years. And it costs, let's say, 25 to 30% more. Well, I can start looking at the math and say, hey, if I had to divide that 2 times, that's 5 times the cost. And I start doing the math. So it is better for me over the long term to put this, and I can put that whole thing out of my mind and let it rest. So it is. So West is marketing directly to me because I'm the sucker that does all of that math. And a lot of us are. A lot of us absolutely are. Where we look at that and say, what is the best return on my product?
Right.
I am the guy that will pick up 2 different styles of chicken and do the math in my head to find out which one costs more per ounce.
Well, so you mentioned price, and that's an interesting thing too, because it's a balancing act, right? It's a balancing act between with everything else, cost benefit, right?
Yeah,
now,
price equilibrium.
Right. So just because the economy's down, just because people are pinching their pennies, just because families are monitoring their budgets a lot more closely, like some certain countries should do, doesn't mean us.
I'm sorry, I had a gig with us.
Doesn't mean you need to start lowering the price of your product or service. Maybe it means you raise the price of your product or service.
You could possibly raise the price, but you need to position yourself as a premium product, and you have to back
it up. You need to make it great, and that's why this one is develop your product or service to make it better. If you have a great product or service, guess what? People will pay for it. Because people understand the simple principle of you get what you pay for. Now, just because there are certain people who will not buy your product because it's more expensive, there are just as many people who will buy your product if it's that good. If it's that good, there are people who will still buy your product. So develop your product or service to be great, like Underdog Bones. Underdog Bones. Yes. Limited ingredient, no soy, wheat, or corn in these at all. This is limited ingredients. Go to underdogplus.com, pick up your brew bones. Your pup will thank you. Had to get that in there.
I'm getting low, so I'll probably put an order in and pick them up when I come over.
All right. Yeah, I actually so I was telling you before the show, I actually had to buy some new stuff because I'm actually at the point to where if I don't scale up my production, it's scale or die at this point. I am literally at capacity for what I can make and fulfill orders right now. So things are going well, but unfortunately, the investments that I need to make in order to scale, it's definitely getting challenging. But anyway, make your product and service the best it possibly can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was number 4.
Absolutely.
That was number 4.
Yep.
All right.
Make products great again.
Number 5 is embrace change. So I put this in here because I didn't use the word pivot because now we got to drink because I said pivot. Hang on.
Prost and pivot.
Rather embrace change. So business is dynamic. I don't think we need to drink on that one. Business is dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic I can allow.
And guess what? Especially in technology, stuff happens quick. And you might reach a point to where your product or service needs to change for whatever reason. You look at here's a great example. Look at YouTube. YouTube actually started as a dating website. Did you know that? And they pivoted to being a.
I'm still on there and single according to YouTube.
Yeah. I actually have about 1,650 followers. So without posting anything in like a year and a half. Anyway, so So you need to be able to pivot, roll with the changes. Guess what? You're
Oh,
going to
you
run
said
into
it again.
rocky times. What's that? You're going to roll into rocky times. You might realize that my product is better served if I made this change. Maybe it's a different product than I originally planned. Maybe my service is slightly different than I originally thought it might be. Maybe my audience is completely different from who I thought it would be. So I need to change my value prop to better suit this other audience. Right? And we'll talk about value
Oh my
proposition
God, we're
here in
so
10
much
minutes.
better. We are so much better than so many other. So in the same thing here, we talk about the embracing the change. And yes, I interrupted you on purpose because it fit with the thing. I'm sitting in a meeting, a class, a sales, whatever it is, and they keep going on and on and on about. They call it the rabbit. You want to be a rabbit. You want to be able to respond and move and focus. And this guy spends like 45 minutes to an hour talking about how we need to be like a rabbit. And how a rabbit's always up and looking for dangers and ready to leap at any given thing.
I get
it. So it took me a long time to get it. Because I'm just sitting here looking at this guy. I'm like, I don't get your point, man.
I get the point. It's not the best analogy, but I get it.
It took a long time to do it. So I was just about how we are, about how we bring the entertainment to the show, with all of the same things that we learned in all of the countless seminars, trainings, classes, all the stuff that we've had to be through, had to
have gone through,
we've been through, have once been gone through. Yes, let's go with that one. It just kind of struck me as we are so much better than those people.
We could run seminars, David. We should. That's our next business. We got to start right there. Running business seminars.
It's down the list. I think we have. So most people have.
We got to do a TED Talk. That's what we're gonna do.
So most people have a hopper full of sales leads. West and I have a hopper full of businesses.
We have a hopper full of business ideas. This doesn't work. We got 10 more behind it.
Full tilt business ideas. So it takes. So if we throw something in a hopper right now, I mean, it could be 15 businesses back.
It could be. We need to write a book. We need to write a book. Each chapter is a new business idea, and we'll actually write out how to develop the business, the goals, the initiatives, what it should look like. Yeah. And we're going to sell this book. So maybe we'll launch a business.
Unfortunately, that's now 15 business ideas back in.
Shit, there's another one. I didn't even think about it. All right.
Oh, that's good. So embracing change and being able to be adaptable. As you guys can tell, West is extremely good at it because I literally interrupt him, and I'm going to stop here in a moment. I can interrupt him mid-sentence. He can make the shift, pivot, so we can drink, then he will come back to his point and be able to continue on building off of everything that I just drunkenly said. Well, not really drunkenly, but just said.
Something like that. By the way, Anna and John Calendar, John's leaving somewhat inappropriate comments, and Anna's trying to pull it back a little bit. Anna says, David Leffingwell leading a TED Talk would be something to see. So I think a TED Talk would be awesome. We got to work on an Underdog Journey awesome. TED Talk. I'm going to see what we can do about that.
I could do a TED Talk. What do you want the TED Talk on? I mean, literally, I would be the guy who shows up and is like, all right, what are we TED Talking tonight?
You would literally just walk on stage. We're going to do a TED Talk on improvising TED Talks.
On improvisation. That would be great. Actually, I want to do there we go. That's the train of thought thing right there. I want to do one of the improv classes. I might actually look and see if there's one of the guilds around here that will do improv classes and do it. I actually thought about, remember for the lodge, I thought we should do that and bring some trainers into the lodge and do some improv classes there to keep people a little loose and ready to go.
I say no to you and no to John Calendar at the same time. I'm not putting that on the screen.
Okay, I got to go over here.
All right, so that was embracing change. That was number 5, embracing change. Number 6 is get organized. You got to get organized. So this probably goes hand in hand with number 1 and number 2. Number 1 was identify your mission. Number 2 is create your goals. You need to get efficient. I know David hates this word, but you must build in
better than efficient.
You must get organized and build in efficiencies to save time. Because here's the thing. A lot of people think, oh, guess what? I'm just going to make a business selling dog treats. I don't really know how to do this. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I see people making money doing this. So I'm gonna start making some dough, and I'm going to get these things out the door. In the meantime, what you're going to realize is you're going to spend about a year really developing your recipes. You're going to spend in that same year developing how to get the dough just right. You're going to spend a year getting all of your bank stuff involved. You're going to spend about a year getting all the back end business stuff and regulations and FDA stuff involved. And during that year, you could have spent 6 months doing it. You could have spent 2 months doing it. In the meantime, you thought you could do a business and learn this stuff as you're developing business. You can't, because once you're developing,
Leroy Jenkins!
Exactly. Here's the problem. Once you're actually doing this day to day, trying to make your product, trying to develop your product, trying to sell your product, trying to get it into stores, and having all these calls and meetings and talking to people and doing things, guess what? That whole time, you don't have time. You literally don't have time to even think about, how could I develop this in a more efficient way? How could I develop this in a more time or cost-effective way? You don't have time to experiment with different ways to do different things. You don't have time to sit down for a couple hours a day with your team and say, we need to be more cost-effective. We need to be more time-effective to really make this profitable enough to be a good, viable business. But if you spent the first couple of months just developing these processes, these efficiencies, I know you hate that word, you could have saved so much effort down the road.
You're talking about sharpening your axe?
If you get organized, sharpen that axe before you start chopping down the tree, you're going to save yourself a lot of time. That's why the sharpen the axe analogy from Lincoln is so good. So good.
It really is. And to get into that story, because we're at what? We just got into number 6. Before we go to number 7, I'm going to tell you the story. It's, about a younger guy and an older guy, and they're both out chopping wood. And
hey, John, no, I'm not going to address your serious question, by the way.
Let's see here.
He says, are you going to address my serious question? I'm not going to address any of the questions you said.
You're going to get blocked for posts like that. Let's see here. I've got, dang, Dave, you going to warm? I leaned way away.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, okay, so sound
loud. I
guess.
have people sleeping upstairs.
I'm in a garage. I bet my neighbor's like, what the hell was that? Actually, they're not close enough to hear me. So they're not. They're fine.
Anyway, go on with your.
So anyway, we're talking about a story. We're talking about we got 2 guys that are chopping wood. We don't have to be young. It doesn't have to be old. It can be the same age. Doesn't matter. It could be a sea cucumber, but normally sea cucumbers don't talk. But in a joke, everybody talks.
They typically don't hold axes either.
That's a joke from Finding Nemo, in case you guys didn't get it. Anyway, so you got 2 guys that are chopping axe, have an axe and they're chopping wood. And, every day one guy goes home for an hour and a half. The other guy keeps chopping all day long. They both quit. They both start at 8. They both stop at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. The guy on the one side here that works straight through, he gets a cord of wood done every single day. The guy on the left who goes home for an hour and a half, he gets a cord and a half of wood to 2 cords of wood every day. And it goes on like this for day after day after day after day. And finally the guy's like, I come in, I work harder than you. I work longer than you. You disappear every single day. How do you chop so much more wood than I do? And the guy says, when I go home, I sharpen my axe.
That's it. It's a real thing. And that's a real thing. And that's why. So one thing I didn't include in here, and I was thinking about it, is spend time on yourself. Give yourself room to breathe. Right. Unfortunately, a lot of small business people, a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of what's called hustle porn right now, which is not what you're thinking, David. A lot of hustle porn out there, which is these inspirational speakers. It's just prostitutes on cocaine.
Hey sister, come over here.
So, but no, hustle porn. So it's these
Help me, step drug dealer.
What did I start? All right. So it's.
Oh, I really threw you off.
So hustle porn it's basically
step drug dealer is what you got to do if you want to throw West off his game.
Anna Candor says hustle porn sounds dirty. It's not what you think it is, Anna. It's basically these influencers online who talk about, oh, you need to work 20 hours a day, and you need to be, working 10 times harder than the guy next to you, and you'll sleep when you die, that sort of thing. There's a lot of those guys out there. I made $10 million last month. If you don't do half that, you're a loser. That kind of thing. Unfortunately, you need to actually dedicate time to yourself. You need time to recharge your own batteries. When you're on an airplane and they're giving you the whole spiel about if the plane crashes, put your own mask on before you help anybody else get their mask on. It's because if you can't take care of yourself, you're no
My
use to
headphones are
anybody
on.
else.
I have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah, if I look,
yeah, they're like the Canadians in South Park with the half
With the
faces
flapping
that talk.
heads.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, yeah. So, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling, read to you by Jim Dale.
I was gonna say Jim Dale. I love Jim Dale. Man, the best. Look, if I ever write a book, doesn't matter. It could be a cookbook. I want Jim Dale to narrate it.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
David Rowland says.
Hey, David Rowland says, "Oh crap! Let me know if my thing freezes." I gave.
Yeah, don't give a thumbs up. You're gonna freeze your
I
screen.
gave
again.
the peace sign thing.
Don't do it.
And
Don't do it.
sometimes that freezes up. Skype is a bitch.
So anyway, that was Get Organized. Somehow went into self care with cocaine's on hooker. Wait, hooker's on cocaine. One of those two things. Number seven is engage with your local community. Now, how does that have to do with sharpening the axe before you even get started chopping down the tree? That's because, all right, here's a great story. So the guy who used to live across the street from me started, while he was working in marketing, so we had some similar relationships there, but he actually started a business selling hot sauce. And he was really selling a lot of this stuff. He was selling a ton of this stuff. He was winning awards. And, at one point I asked him, what'd you do to get started? How'd you really get into this? And he's like, you know what? He said, I went online. I went on these different, chat communities and started talking to people. And the more you do that, the more you get to know the community. David, in the past, we've talked a lot about building an avatar, building a customer avatar to really understand not just your demographics, but your psychographics, understanding your audience. Right?
To me, that's my favorite one. To me, that is my favorite one. It is the one that most businesses absolutely overlook.
Right. So that's why before you get started, engaging with the community, getting to know them, getting to know their lingo, getting to know where their real pain points are that your product or service is there to resolve, really comes into play. You need to get to know the community, especially before you start trying to sell to them, because how often do you see a company, speaking frat boy talk, in the meantime, their core demographic or psychographic is, 60-year-old grandmas on Facebook. It happens, and you need to understand who you're communicating with before you start trying to sell to them. So engaging with your community is number one. So yeah, psychographics is a big part of that. Tell us the difference, David, between demographics and psychographics.
Well, the demographic tells you. Oh, did my thing freeze? Oh no,
no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so the demographic tells you more of the data. It gives you kind of raw data, like male. And I love the demographic. Oh, we're going to give you the
male 28 to
45 year.
Yeah, 28 to 35.
20,
male.
So the crazy one is the
19
19 to 45, which is ridiculous. It's just that is useless. If anybody ever comes to you, if you're running a business like, hey, we're going to give you an ability to tap into the 19 to 45, get the out of here.
Exactly.
Don't be nice to them. Don't be kind to them.
Literally tell them
and
to
scream
GTFO.
Leroy Jenkins, their ass out the freaking building.
Exactly.
That's a useless person.
Give them Elon Musk and say GFY.
Yes, GFY. Go fuck yourself. That's what that needs to be. So the demographics is that type of data. Male, female, the age. It could be income. It could be their geographic as well is in there. But there's also the geographic that's looking at and say, hey, we want this geographic market. So inside of that geographic market, you could have the demographic of males from 16 to 100. Okay. So what is something? Let's say that's the market we're going after. So all right, let's say that's who we're going after. Well, there are a couple of things that actually that would work for males from 16 years old to 100 years old. And the first thing that comes to my mind would be cars. So now we're going to talk about
I was thinking strippers on cocaine.
Oh,
I was going back to that.
Let's talk about cars. I know more about cars than I know about strippers on cocaine. So let's say we're talking about cars, and now we're reaching out and saying, hey, we are going to do a marketing campaign for the buyers who have a sentimental attachment to vehicles. We are going to touch on we're going to pull the heartstring of the person whose father or grandfather had the original 1953 and a half, or 1965 and a half Mustang. Okay, was it 64 and a half or 65? 1966, so 1965 and a half Mustang, which only the freaking Mustang ass hats. It just pissed off a lot of our viewers there. Only the Mustang ass hats, count things in half years. But the 1965 and a half Mustang, and those are the people we're going to try to reach out to. So now we're going to talk about the psychographics. The psychographic is, why are they buying? So we got the where, that's our geographic, the who, that is our demographic, and the why, which is our psychographic. So now we're going to reach out and go into our psychographic and say, we are specifically targeting. So if you have your geographic set, your demographic set, and now we're tackling our psychographic, that's actually, even if I disagree with it, that's going to be a pretty damn potent marketing campaign if you actually follow those three things.
Right, exactly. And that's really so I come from marketing. So I, unfortunately, there are too many marketers out there who care about just demographics. They're looking at, what's your demo over here? What's your demo over there? I don't care about the demo. The demo doesn't tell me anything about the person. I'm not there to hear, because my philosophy, and I've gotten dirty looks from high-level executives. I've been in meetings with SVPs and C-suite executives who've given me very dirty looks when I say things like this. I don't care about demographics. I'm not there to sell a product. As a marketer, I'm there to have and facilitate a conversation with a person. Marketing is not a monologue. I'm not there to sell them a product. I'm there to get to know them. I'm there for them to get to know me. And I'm there to build that relationship and to maintain that relationship so they trust me enough to buy my product when I do tell them that it's good. And that's where psychographics come into play so much more than demographics. You need to know the person. You need to know their pain points. You need to know their hopes, their dreams, their fears. You need to know how many kids they have. You need to know where they live, why they live there, why they chose to live there, where they want to live in the future, because you can build a relationship with a person. You can't build a relationship with a demographic.
No, and you shouldn't try to build a relationship with a demographic. You should not.
Exactly.
So West, where would we decide these types of things? How would we what is it that we're going to create that allows us to speak to this singular person?
Well, it's almost like you need some sort of a really deep, in-depth customer profile, almost like an avatar. Like if you could take all of your ideal customers and put them into a single individual and say, this is the ideal customer. And I'm not going to speak to a group of people. I'm going to speak to this person.
It's one person.
Right. Because here's the thing. If you're up on stage, anybody who's been up on stage, especially somebody who's not really experienced on stage, the first time you get on stage and you see that audience in front of you and you try and speak to the audience.
Your butthole tight.
But beyond the conversation itself, when you try and speak to the audience, you're speaking at them. You're not really sure what to say. You're kind of nervous. There's thousands of people out there like, hi, I get this script. I'm going to say this thing now. Versus if you're like, just shooting the shit.
Can I get a good morning? Good morning. That's not good enough. You can do better.
But if you're just shooting the shit with your buddy, say you and I are in a cigar lounge, and we're just having a conversation. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Or you go to the cigar lounge by yourself, which I know you've done, David, and you just strike up a random conversation with a person. Guess what? You're going to speak differently to that person than you will to an audience of people. Because speaking to that person, it's a personality. That person has hopes and dreams of their own. They have goals of their own. Your ideal customer will ideally have similar hopes and dreams and goals, which is why you build that customer avatar.
It was so it was funny. It was like you were like, I don't know. You went and you struck up conversations. So last Friday, I had to go to New York City, and I go into Casa de Monte Cristo down in New York City, and I love this place. It's the younger night. It's not my late night place. It's a younger in the evening, late afternoon, early evening place for me. So I've got a meeting with the guy down there, a couple of people, and I go in. And I see some guys over there. Guy's got a hat on. I walk up. I shake his hand. He looks up at me. He's like, "Do I know you?" Like, we've never met before in my life. I sit down. I don't wait. I sit down. We start talking. his bro starts talking, and we're just having a great time.
Yeah.
Now, my meeting is in the back. My meeting's in the back, and it's watching me like, what the hell is happening? Because they know me, but they don't really know me.
Right.
And he comes up and I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? This is yeah. And then we're all shaking hands, kids and babies shaking, doing our thing. And I'm talking to him. It's like, hey, but I got other obligations. I'm gonna come back and see you guys later. And he comes back, hey, do you know those people? I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue who these people are. And it's being able to engage with that person instantly. I honestly credit all of that ability back to customer avatars, back to all that we have spoke about avatars.
Right.
And you are not speaking to a group. You are not speaking to a demographic, you freaking idiots.
But
you're not speaking
demographics
to a
is so efficient, David.
geographic. It is very efficient way to piss some people off.
It's very efficient. I would say not very effective.
Yes, not very effective. I'll take effective over efficiency any day of the week. We still got to make that T-shirt. But yeah, I take that all back to how we treat our customer avatars and how much time we have put into not only our own customer avatars, but teaching other people and doing this podcast of creating their customer avatars. I credit my ability to be able to walk in and instantly be able to have a conversation, not just a general conversation, but a conversation where if for the only 2 minutes I got to spend with these people, if somebody goes, hey, I need somebody who can walk into a situation and own it instantly, I guarantee you their first image in their mind is going to be this fat white guy right here. That's it. This is the image that comes to their mind. Like, that guy came in and he was my friend for 20 years. I'd met him for 3 seconds. He was my friend for 20 years.
Well, David, you're the definition of walk into a room like you own the place, and you probably will. That's
yes, and
that's you.
that is a whole lot of it. I have gotten into a lot of places that I had absolutely.
You have gotten us in at tables that we should not have been on. That's very true. By the way, Anna Calendar says customer avatar. What? That sounds like something that maybe the Underdog Journey should mention every single episode.
Ever. It really is. Okay, so we've talked about it a lot. And tonight's show was not about it. Tonight's show is about sharpening your axe and being prepared and putting in the work before the work so that your work can actually be productive. That's what this show was about.
That's this episode. And
that is this episode.
One of the reasons that kind of got me thinking about this is so right now, so I left the corporate world. I left the corporate world to run my own businesses. I'm doing my own things on the side. And sometimes to people like my current wife or to other people, it might seem on the outside like I'm not doing a lot because I'm not at an office. I'm not having the big corporate calls, 10 times a day. It doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. Maybe sometimes I'm just sharpening that axe. I'm preparing to swipe at that tree and chop down that tree. And that's where you need to be as well. You need to prepare before you try and cut down the tree. Because if you just go in blind and just start swinging, it's going to take you 10 times longer.
Leroy Jenkins warning. Attention, ladies and gentlemen.
The Leroy Jenkins, it looks fun, but you're not going to win the battle being Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah. So I get this a lot, and I never defend myself. I never do, because the people who don't get it, doesn't matter to me if they don't get it. The people who do get it never say a word to me.
Yeah.
But you will see me on a Tuesday, randomly picking a date, at a cigar lounge or a restaurant or a park or somewhere, and it may look to everyone around like, oh man, that's awesome. He's not doing anything. If you were inside my mind, you'd be like, holy shit, I need a break.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally breaking down all the stuff that we've went over, applying them to the customer avatars that I have created. I don't just tell you guys about this. Wes doesn't just tell you guys about this stuff. We use this every single day.
That's right.
when I'm trying to speak about the world that I'm in right now, the niche that I'm specifically in right now, I've created my customer avatars for a market we call AHJs, as authorities having jurisdictions. Most of you guys know them as fire marshals, for insurance companies, for state code officials, for plans reviewers. So I've created a customer avatar for each of these, and then there are multiple sects of those as well, because I'm dealing with huge municipalities like New York City, Boston, Atlanta, LA, some really Miami, some really big places. And then I've created them. So just because I've created this one AHJ, no. But I'm applying all of these: identify your mission, create your goals, create a strong team, build the best product and service, which I think I have, and I bring that best service to the market, embrace change. The market that I'm in is all about change. Get organized. It seems sometimes like I'm very disorganized. If you guys are walking to my office is extremely organized. My mind is not organized, so my surroundings have to be. So I've got that chromosome, if you're asking. Let's see here, and then engaging with your local community. That's just engagement, and the one thing I'm good at is that.
Right, but
everything else I'm
important.
like iffy.
And a lot of people really neglect that. It's intimidating, and especially when you're starting a new product or service or business. A lot of people think, "Man, who am I to talk about this thing?"
Anyway, that whole long thing I just went through was all to illustrate how important customer avatars are, how much we use them from a functional and administrative position in business every single day. Yes, I know Anna just made a comment like, "Oh, we should bring this up every single day." Well, we do.
There's a reason why we talk about it a lot.
There's a reason why we do, and it's not because we like I was saying, this show was about this X thing. It's so hard to get away from the core of it, and it's creating, and Matt Harmon, and to ever his credit, his conversation of, we have our customer avatars, and then I'm going to say our internal avatars of who is doing the speaking.
That's it.
So those two things, and it wasn't until him that I kind of understood that, and it's creating a new voice that resonates better. So, because my voice, even though I might be saying a different message, may not resonate. So I might have to change some wording and things like that. So understanding who's doing the speaking and who's doing the listening.
Right. So
it's going to.
Well, and maybe that's a different show altogether, because I know we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but right now we spent most of this time talking about customer avatars. There's also, like you just mentioned, the brand avatar. So maybe we do a show on customer versus brand avatar and how they sort of intermingle together, and talk about how we love Venn diagrams.
Oh, I love Venn diagrams. So as much as I love Venn diagrams, West loves Venn diagrams infinitely more than I do.
Well, I think they're a great tool. I think there's definitely a use case for a great Venn diagram. I love it. I'm not going to keep going on about it.
I use it almost every day now. When I'm sitting in front of an end user, an AHJ, it's not the only thing that I carry that goes from all of my avatars, but it is the one thing that is consistent. Like literally the wording of it is consistent. I say, you have XYZ and I have XYZ. And in most people's brains, they're like, oh, if I have XYZ, I don't need XYZ. And I go, if you put this in a Venn diagram, this is going to shock you. They do not overlap. And when I say it just like that, I get all grave. I'm like, down into it. I'm like,
they do not overlap.
They do overlap. And they're like, wait, what? and then I go, they do not.
They don't. Yeah, no, it's
They do not overlap.
Right.
And you can see the lights go off in these people's heads, and they're like, holy shit.
yeah. One of these things is
And,
not
and
like
when,
the other.
when they do that, I know I got them.
There you go. By the way, John Calendar, I'm not putting it on the screen, but you're totally right. You got the reference. So
Okay.
you're totally right though.
I gotta go look.
David, the funny thing is I didn't even mention in the agenda today. I didn't even mention customer avatars, but it came up because it's so relevant to what we're talking about.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, that was the thing, and that's why I wanted to drive home. And I appreciate Calendar, Anna, for saying that. And where was it? Oh dear Lord! Customer avatar? What? That sounds like something that should be mentioned in every Underdog Journey episode ever. And Anna has been around a long time. Anna has been part of our show and
have
a
watched
viewer
our show
for a
since
very,
the start. Yeah,
very long time. And so the her bringing that up, it just illustrates this show was not about customer avatars, but it's hard to do these sharpening of the axes properly if you did not do any customer avatars. I cannot, and I remember a time looking back upon the time when the Energon was rich in our world. Wait, that's Optimus. Never mind. I remember a time when I operated without having a customer avatar.
Yeah.
Any of them. And I remember, basically, I look at it now. You remember, the movie with the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Where they're like, throw everything into the cannons.
Okay.
And they just shot everything out of the cannons. What they hit, they hit. What they missed, then they missed a whole lot more than they hit.
Okay.
That's how I picture my old marketing and sales tactics.
Okay.
Was loaded all the cannons and I just shot it out there. I had no idea
and
where
most
I was
people,
aiming.
that's what most people do, unfortunately, and especially small businesses, throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Yeah. Usually, if you do that, nothing sticks.
Yeah, the spaghetti method is not good. Yeah, the spaghetti method, and that's where I said when you throw it at the wall, you throw the spaghetti at the wall. If it sticks, it's done. I'm not an al dente fan, so cook my spaghetti all the way through, please.
We don't make it mushy, but you got to cook it properly. I get it.
I would rather have it mushy than have it, when I'm snapping through.
Don't make it crunchy. Come on, we're not animals.
Yeah, come on, now. What's wrong?
So
I remember those times when I didn't have the customer avatars and the stark difference in success.
Right.
From then to now.
Yeah, exactly. John Calendar, by the way, says. My avatar for customers is anger from inside out. So Lewis Black did the voice of that character, and Lewis Black might be my spirit animal. So if you know who Lewis Black is, look him up. He's a genius.
Lewis Black, and not to talk about politics or immigration law, but Lewis Black was the one, and it was hilarious. He talked about, building, we don't want to build a wall down on the southern border. We want to build a wall elsewhere, but we want to put a pool of gas across the southern border. And every so often we turn it off to encourage people to come by, and then we just turn it back on.
Wow, this show took a dark turn.
Yeah, so this is Lewis Black. So, and then he goes on in that same bit, he goes on and on and on, and he talks about, and we want to build the wall, and we want to build in Canada because that's where all the fucking cold air is coming from.
That's where the cold air is coming from. That's
where the cold air is coming from.
I hadn't heard that one. That's
and there's a guy who lives in in central New York and kind of, cold territory. Like, we are just now in summer up here.
Like just now.
We just got warm. We just got able to use our pool consistently within the past 2 weeks.
So you're like Eastern Europe with 80s music. You just got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Doogie Howe's the #1 show. Yeah. Yeah. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Right now we're currently watching this hit new show called Friends.
Exactly.
That's where we're at up here. I mean, that's where it is, Central New York. I mean, it's cold up here.
Ross and Rachel, what will happen? I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? When they go together, who has the sweater? Who lost the eyebrow color? Okay, I blame my ex Melissa for everything I know about Friends.
Yeah, I only know enough about the memes. I never actually watched most of the show.
So
I was watching Seinfeld. I was a real man.
Yes. So I got yelled at by, I was dating this really hot redhead once. And,
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't you. And
We went on a break, says John
I'm not going
Callender.
to tell that. As I'm thinking, I'm not telling that story.
No, your current
But
wife might still be
Seinfeld did
watching,
make a
David.
play.
Don't do it. It's a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
All right, we got to move on.
Warning. Audio warning. I'm going to turn the mic around. Leroy Jenkins.
That's my new ringtone for you,
that
David.
back.
That's my new ringtone for you.
That should do it. Do it. I'm all for that. If people entitle me Leroy Jenkins, I'm in. I'll own that.
All right.
I will absolutely own that.
I'll change the your name on the screen for that next time.
Oh, no more baby boy, huh?
No more. Well, yeah, I don't have Baby Boy on this one. That one, for some reason, doesn't show on the screen. I made it. You saw it for like 10 seconds, and it stopped showing. So it's a whole thing.
It's all right.
Anyway,
I used my thought powers.
We've been going for over 2 hours. Leroy Jenkins. But I think we got the message across. So sharpen your axe before you get started on anything, not just business. Anything. Just prepare ahead of time. That's why Batman 9 out of 10 times beats Superman. That's why Abraham Lincoln can chop down a tree in 2 hours. That's why Leroy Jenkins never wins the battle. You got to sharpen the axe.
Hey. There's lots to be said for Leroy, bud. There's a lot to be said for Leroy.
It's fun, but he didn't win the battle. It's fun, but he didn't win the battle.
Well, he didn't win that battle.
In the meantime, the guy with the bullet-pointed spreadsheet who was reading down was like, damn, I could have won that battle.
Damn, I could have won the battle. This is so Weston Dave.
Exactly.
This is so Weston Dave. This is all it is. Like, this guy was like, all right, let's think this through, and Dave was already over there doing shit.
If this is your first time listening or watching our show, this is how we live life. This is actually us. So, David,
you're more or less.
Your screen froze. John is leaving more and more inappropriate comments in the comments. So I think that means it's time to run. We've been going for like 2 hours. Anna says, stop. Anna, you're right.
What am I to say, por favor, señores and señoritas?
Huh? Oh, he's restarting. I was trying to cut the show short. David's restarting his camera, so we're going to see how that works out. There he is.
We got it. I'm back.
There he is.
So what happens is, I don't know why, but Skype, whenever I do one of the things that creates the balloons or fireworks or anything on the screen, it's like, you know what? I'm going to freeze now.
Yeah, Skype. So we were just talking before the show. We need to find an alternative to Skype for this show.
Oh, yeah. So we were talking before the show about doing a show in the near future about us exploring, kind of like what we did back in the
first few episodes.
I was going to use the word anals, but okay.
Annals of history.
Back in our annals, when we were searching for the platforms that we're on now, the Restream.io, the
Ecamm Live.
What's Ecamm Live? We went through a few that maybe it's time because of the issues and updates with Skype.
Yeah, Skype sucks, by the way.
It might be time for us to do another one of those and say, hey, you know what? You're going to outgrow your technology and you're going to need to move on to bigger and better things. Now, we have already tested behind the scenes some softwares and some programs that would do great if we recorded our show, edited,
if we pre-recorded these, it'd be a whole different show. Totally. 100%.
But we don't. This is all 100% live.
Also, if this weren't all coming out of my pocket, it'd be a whole different show if we had a budget. If we had a budget. So that's a different thing altogether, too.
So if anybody wants to sponsor us, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, come on. We need sponsors. What company's brave enough? Take on the Underdog
Who
journey.
has the brass kahunas to sponsor the Underdog journey?
Yeah, that's a challenge.
That's a challenge
to the world. Let's make this happen.
Microsoft.
Elon Musk, we talk enough about you.
Elon. Come on,
Joe Rogan, I've mentioned you enough. We deserve some sponsorship dollars here.
Joe Rogan. Gee, Joe Rogan owes you 4 Teslas in the amount of times you've talked about him.
Come on, man. Let's make it happen. It's no joke, man.
So John Calver says you'd lose all the great commentary, and that's one of the things we don't want to do. We love the interaction with our live viewers. We want to encourage more people to be live viewers. So come on, man.
Yeah.
So I like to look at our analytics, and I've seen some of the stuff, not lately because somebody is worried. But I've seen some of the analytics, and we've got viewers out there who want to watch.
We do.
Want to drink with us. So
We
let's do
do.
it.
They're out. They exist. You exist out there. We're watching you, and we're paying attention. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think, and we will absolutely get back to you. Leave us just message us. We'll get back to you every single time. So I won't text David back, but I'll text you back. Let me know.
Yeah. Yes. It takes me a week.
I eventually I'll get back with you.
He
We'll see.
eventually texts me when he needs something. But to be honest, my wife is the same way, so I got to let it go.
John says he thinks we're great. So John, I'll take that. That's a high point to end the
That's
show
awesome.
on. All
That's
right,
the way
so
to do it. Right there. Johan, we'll see you in a bit.
So I've been West. He's been Leroy Jenkins. That's been my cat.
Leroy Jenkins!
And we'll see you guys next week.
Basically infatuated with the in-between, the ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I bring it to your city or your hometown. I go back in time when the feeling was fine, when funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way, a bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funkin' in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. The neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funkin' in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look around, all the frowns, the yellow, the white, the red and the brown. And keep in mind, it never costs a dime, 'cause funkin' is free, I remember the time. Now look today, the streets are gray, time to take it back to yesterday. Funkin' in the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funkin' in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. It was good in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt a fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods.